Nice.
I was muted there. Hello and welcome to the Anime Boomers podcast. I'm back here for a solo Sunday stream. It's a little bit of a rare occurrence here. Cody has been going through some stuff. He's very, very busy. He's going to be doing some stuff IRL, so he's not going to be back for a week or two. So once again, I did not want to drop off the face of the earth like we have in the past when somebody had to go do stuff. So I'm here doing a stream, keeping the every other week streak alive. You know, I haven't actually done a solo stream. It's actually been a little while since I've done one of these. As most of you know, previously I did this little ditty called GATORTIME, where it would just be me and I would just be streaming by myself, reading the news, talking about random stuff. So I have a little bit of experience in that regard, but you know, it's always good to dust off the cobwebs and do a solo stream here. Just talk to the chat, do my thing, read the latest news. Because, you know, normally on a regular episode of the podcast, the way it usually goes is I'll bring up one topic, and then we'll talk for 2 minutes about it, and then we'll wildly veer off course onto another topic. That's usually how it goes anyway. And then, like, towards the end of the podcast, we'll be like, oh, whoops, we haven't even talked about, like, 5% of the stuff that we were going to talk about. So normally it's like, well, I try to be a little better about, like, maybe getting one main topic, having a couple of extra topics kind of on the queue in case we need stuff to talk about. But so far, we've actually never really had that problem. Today might be a little different though. I don't have Cody, my instant tangent machine to lead us off into the promised land. So I'm gonna be doing it myself here, doing my own goofy yapping stream. Yes, we're gonna talk about that. That was actually gonna be the main topic. Talking about all the anime piracy websites going down, but then something crazy happened. The Nijisanji content mines were full again, and for once, it's actually not Nijisanji's fault. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Yeah, like imagine that. Like, and I've been getting a lot of shit for it too. Because I was like, oh, you mean Nijisanji fucked up again? No, actually, no, they didn't. But that just because Nijisanji is innocent doesn't absolve like everything that they have fucked up on in the past. And that seems to be like that seems to be the narrative that they're trying to stick with. It's like, oh, you know, they didn't do it this time, so that obviously means that they're clear of any wrongdoing in the past. No, it just means that they were the victims of some really screwed up stuff this time. Them and their employees, their VTubers were the victims of this like sick freak doing weird stuff. We'll get into that in just a second. Read a little bit of chat here. Yeah. John says, go buy the plus-sized elf manga if you guys like the anime so much. Yeah, I actually have a story about that. I did not realize that the plus-size elf anime was going to be as lewd as it was. And I'm just sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden it was just like fat elf boob in the face. I was like, whoa! I probably should have assumed it was going to be, but I was not ready. I was definitely not prepared for that. Total Crunchyroll victory. Yeah. I actually have a little bit of research I did into the what happened with that, and maybe we could kind of start there. Yeah, press F for 9anime, Aniwave, and other streaming sites. Yes. Oh, I see Necro in the chat. Yeah, if you want to hop in at some point, yeah, just let me know. What's up, Gators? Just you tonight? Yep, it's just me tonight, unless Necro wants to pop in, which I could. He might have already DM'd me. I don't think so, but if he wants to pop in, he can always pop in. So I guess the lead in here, we could talk about what happened to all the anime piracy sites. So as you guys know, earlier this week, all of a sudden, all of the like Aniwave and what was the other one, like Go Anime or something like that, they all just stopped working. They all posted the same statement. Oh, so Necro says, give me a few more minutes. Okay, cool. but they all posted the same notice on their website, basically saying that they were shutting down the website and go and look at, like, if you want to watch anime, go do it through legal means. And it was very weird because there had been other websites that were shut down similarly that posted a very similar notice. And that got people to thinking, like, well, that seems kind of weird that all of these websites where all of these people had nothing to do with each other were mysteriously posting the exact same notice at the exact same time, worded almost exactly the same way. And, you know, I started looking into it and looking up articles about it. And I found an article, I believe it was on Torrent Freak, if I can go pull this up real quick, where it actually talked about it. If I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Pirate streaming giants dead in major collapse here. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull this article up real quick. Zoom in here. Yeah, so here's the article here. Displayed on my screen here. Boop. There we go. Like, yeah. So it talked about the death of F movies. This all seems to have happened kind of around the same time frame here. So websites like F Movies, which was hosting like cam rips and stuff of movies, Blu-ray rips and stuff, it went down, and then all of a sudden, all of these anime websites, so Aniwave and Anix.to, all these websites went down at about the same time, and they all posted very, very similar statements to previous websites that also went down. So basically, the way that all these sites worked is they used a loophole in the registrar where foreign registrars weren't enforcing copyrights like they would in the West. And so what happened is the government and the MPAA and a bunch of other companies got together, and they actually sent like political delegations to these countries to try to bully them into enforcing Western copyright. And one of the companies that actually was set up is ACE, and I'm going to get into them in just a minute here. Oh yeah, should I use a VPN? Yes, you should. You should always, if you're downloading stuff over the internet, it's like a torrent or whatever, you should always use a VPN. Always, 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 always. Because the way that a torrent works, if you don't use a VPN, your IP address is directly exposed to whomever you're connecting to. And this is actually see, when I went to college, I actually worked for a little while in the IT side of things. And one of the things that I actually had to deal with was I had to deal with the copyright notices that were sent over by companies that just tracked IP addresses. And so they'd literally like detect the IP, and then they'd send an automated email like to our like DMCA or whatever handler email. And so I had to go through and process all of that stuff. And I had to send like the college students notices to basically like, hey, knock this off. Yeah, I had to do that. That was part of my job being in IT. So yeah, you should definitely not have your IP exposed when you're torrenting stuff. Definitely do not do that, because they will see it and they will send a nastygram to your ISP. And depending on who your ISP is, they may just like cut you off, and you may have to like fight with them over the phone to get your access back. Like these people are ruthless with that stuff. Is there a VPN that's free and not a subscription? I don't use a free VPN. I pay for mine. So I don't know. I don't know enough about the free VPNs to know one to recommend. John in the chat says soft ether. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sponsored by any either, so I can't I don't have any codes to give you, unfortunately. Maybe one will someday. Maybe, probably not. But I don't have any codes or anything to give you. mine's not that great. My VPN's not that great. It's just good enough. The only reason I have the one I use is because it actually kind of works with gaming a little better than the ones I've used in the past. I used to use Nord. I went away from Nord. I think Nord had an issue where they like give information to the government or something. I can't remember, but I know there was a reason I stopped using them, and I was like, nah, I'm not using them again. So, but anyway, yeah. So Vietnam, other countries in Southeast Asia, they were being used to basically so that they could host their servers anywhere, but the domains couldn't be taken down, and because they couldn't get the user information from the registrar, from the domain registrar, they didn't know who to go after, and so they what happened with a lot of these websites is they got that information, or at least enough information to threaten all of these people into shutting down their websites. Yeah, and here, yeah, see, this is the same notice here. Like, we've been providing links. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. It's time to say goodbye. Please pay for the movies, shows. Yeah, it's very similar to the response that was posted on the Anywave website. Yeah, and see, this was the 123 movies posts. Like, yeah, please pay for the movie shows. So obviously they were sent some kind of form letter that, number one, they can't mention who was responsible. Two, they have to essentially say, like, please buy, the old Team 4-star thing. Please support the official release stuff. Oh, Necro says he's just a call in. Okay. Well, just let me know when you're ready to call in. I'll switch over to the other screen then. Oh, John said soft ether client with VPN gate bundled. Oh, well, yeah. Well, there you go. There's something for you to look into. Like I said, I haven't used any of the free VPNs yet, so I can't really necessarily recommend anything. Oh, he said he's in now. Oh, okay. All right, let me look. Oh, there he is. Let me give you the call-in role. Hold on. Let me drag him over. Why won't it let me? There we go. There we go. Now I can drag him in. Now I can switch to the other thing here. Ah, there we go. Switch to the other screen here.
I need to give you the other thing. The other thing.
Oh, hey, Necro.
Mr. Gator, how are you this fine evening?
Good. Just talking about how every anime piracy website went down for the most part.
It's such a strange thing. Because I was using Anywave for like a little bit. Like I usually don't go on like websites. There is one that I'm keeping in the pocket. I'm keeping it close to the chest. But I saw that and I was immediately very upset that Anywave was among the very few that just got deleted off of the internet.
Yeah, that was the one I loved too. That was the one I was using because it had such. And this is my problem with the takedown, is that number one, it really wasn't affecting anime sales like they tried to say it was. But number two, there was stuff on there that you could not find, that's not being sold, that's not being distributed, that was in way better quality than what was available out there. Stuff that you can't find, like specials that they never re-release. Historical stuff that you can't find anymore. Like, it was like the burning of the Weeaboo Library of Alexandria.
Well, and the other thing about it that I've noticed is there's been a lot of things, because usually I do support the official release, if you catch my drift. And sometimes I really don't feel like hooking up a hard drive for any of those official releases. Hint, hint.
Right.
So it's a little bit easier for me to just load up a web browser and then just say, yeah, I want to watch this today. Especially if it's older stuff that is, like you said, it's not being sold, it's not being streamed anywhere. No one has the licenses for it, so it's like,
or the licenses are in like limbo because of like company shuts down or gets absorbed, or Western company goes out of business and nobody renews the license, so it's just stuck in limbo.
Yeah, and it kind of it reminds me a little bit of the most recent thing with Nintendo and how they were taking down all of these sites. They took down the sites, even though they were taking down ROMs that they don't even have the licensing to.
Right. And that's another good point, is that a lot of the content that were on these websites had nothing to do with Nintendo, but they had to take everything down.
Yeah.
Like if it was published on a Nintendo system, they had to take it down.
Yeah. And you know, and of course I can't speak to the legality of it all, but I feel like a lot of this stuff is getting lost in time lately, and this is kind of pertinent, which is why I was like, you know what, I'll just hop on in here. I was watching the virtual gaming library videos, if you've ever seen their channel on YouTube at all.
I haven't, but I'm intrigued.
Yes, so the virtual gaming library channel, in case you guys don't know what it is, allow me to pig-splain it to you. So it's this, I guess it's a group of people, I would have to assume, but they're a channel that pretty much goes through all of gaming history, like as far as consoles are concerned. So their most latest video is the PlayStation Vita project, where they showcase, like, you know, 5-10 second clips or something of PS Vita games, and they have over 1,700 games for the Vita.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot, and the thing is like a lot of them are they're all categorized alphabetically, obviously, but a lot of them only came out in like Japan, or they only came out in the EU, things like that. A lot of the older consoles did it, but you can kind of look back at it and say, wow, I really want to play this old game of something that I used to play or something that I used to watch on TV, and then you could just go and download it. Now you can't really do that because, again, Nintendo kind of rolls in and they say, sorry, buddy, you're doing something illegal.
Yeah,
no fun allowed.
Yeah, and that's really the problem, especially when a lot of these games are just lost to the ether. Like, there's a ton of PlayStation 3 games that they've just never re-released. I know Sony was stuck on this, oh, you can use our software to stream the games to your PlayStation 4. And it's like, yeah, but your technology sucks.
They did some weird voodoo black magic to get the PS3 to be a console, because the power of the cell was something that no one understood, and they still made
not
games
even their
for
developers. Not
yep.
I feel like there were two people in the entire company that designed the architecture that understood it, and Sony like sacrificed them to pagan gods or something so that the secret would never be revealed. And then they're just like, oh yeah, we kind of needed those people around to be able to figure out how to sell people those games again in our next console.
Like it's the weird power of the Wiccans. It's like I don't know what they're doing over there, but they can't figure it out, which is why a lot of those PS3 exclusive games don't really ever leave that console. I know the most recent example was Metal Gear Solid 4, a game that I'm sure everyone wanted to play all of a sudden because they love Metal Gear Solid so much. It's on the PS3, has always been on the PS3, and now that the PS3 is dead, they didn't have any interest until what is it? The new collection of games that are coming out.
Yeah, the Metal Gear Solid collection.
Yeah, and they were like, "Hey, when's that Metal Gear Solid 4 gonna hit?" It's like, bro, you don't realize the absolute ether that it's stuck in on the PS3 and the power of the cell to get it to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
In fact, it's another thing to take it a step further. You know, Capcom, they make some okay games. Some could assume.
Right.
Well, the Marvel Fighting Collection, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection that they have that's coming out, and the Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and even the first one, are not on Xbox. And I didn't really know the reason why, and I think that everybody's kind of come to the collective agreement that it is because the division that was making it for the Xbox, or specifically for the MT framework that they were using to make those games, it just doesn't, they don't exist. They like went away forever, and they're not going to be releasing them on those consoles. And apparently this problem also affects the PS5, which is why it's only for PS4, but you can obviously play it backwards compatible with the PS5 because there's no games any fucking ways. But but at least they have that option for PlayStation, and the Switch does not have this issue, and the PC will not have this issue. But apparently it's because of that MT framework that they can't do that. And again, translating that into anime waifus and shit. Well, we can't really have a lot of these anime that people like rant and rave about, the ones that they tell you that you're not media literate enough to understand. A lot of that stuff,
a lot of that stuff lately.
You know, and you know, it is what it is. But like, there's old shows that you just simply cannot watch anywhere else, or there's lost episodes, or there's ones that did not premiere because of, you know, insert here national disaster of some kind, and we just don't get to see it. In fact, that's why their virtual gaming library, since they have a lot of the Japan exclusive video games that you can kind of just look at, it sucks because you can't get them anywhere unless you pirate it. The same way with anime that you really, really like, and the people tell you how good it is, but there's nowhere to watch it. Thanks, Jeff Thu. Well, now you have to pirate it. So now instead of watching it on a web browser, I have to go to, what do they call it on the Resident Evil show? Naya? I gotta go to Naya.
Yeah, that blew my mind when they mentioned that on the terrible live action Resident Evil. I was like, oh my god.
You know, the fun thing about having me on is that I manifest the things that happened in cringe history, like Genshin Impact. When that lady went up there and the award goes to Genshin Impact, I said, all right, man. Thanks. I don't know. Listen, I would like to think that games won't be censored, but at this point, physical media is still kind of king, but even those have their own limits. But if you download them and save them, and then you keep, you know, backlog, you'll be fine. But like you said, it's like the burning of the Library of Alexandria. Like, we're just kind of stuck in this place where you can't readily go and watch any of these things because reasons. Oh, it's hurting anime, it's hurting manga. It's really not. If anything, a lot of shows only get their second season because of piracy.
Yeah, because there's a lot of shows that people don't know about. Like, whenever I recommend a show, people like go and they watch it, and guess what they do? They don't drop. Like, how much money is it now for frickin' Crunchyroll? Like $100 a month or some crazy?
I hate them, and I'm blocked by them on my other Twitter account, so your guess is as good as mine, to be honest.
Like nobody's gonna drop $100 just to watch one show, just to watch a single show that somebody recommended. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna go to a website like an Anywave, and they're gonna watch like the first 3 episodes, and then they're gonna decide whether they like it or not. And guess what? If they really, really like it, they're probably going to drop money on merch. Most of the people I know, if they really like a show, they're going to buy the manga because they want to read the manga. They're going to do all of this stuff. Now, are they going to buy it from Crunchyroll? Probably not. Why? Because they hate that company because they're trash.
By the way, can we also talk about their Stalin moment? They got rid of Crunchyroll Hime. She's just MIA. She's just gone. Forever. The only part of Crunchyroll I liked was the VTuber, and they took her out back and put her down like a dog. It's awful.
Oh, by the way, I switched over your little VTuber thing.
Yay! I see myself. I'm the guy.
I really want one of those. as both a fan of the of Smiling Friends and Fuwamoko, I need a I need a puppet.
Listen, I love Crunchyroll Hime. The only part of Crunchyroll I actually liked, and then they stripped that away from me too. Crunchyroll is $7.99 a month, but you only get to stream on one device at a time, and you get like 5% off of select products from their store. So nothing. They have the Ultimate Fan one, which is $15.99. That's the top of the line one you can get. Stream up to 6 devices, offline viewing, access to Crunchyroll Game Vault, which, by the way, they keep closing down games left and right, so, you know. And then you get 15% off select products. members only offers, and early access to sales with free US shipping, and an exclusive swag bag after 12 consecutive months of subscription. They could not make this any less impressive to me.
Well, at the same time, too, a lot of anime are debuting on like Netflix and stuff like that, too. So if you want to watch anime now, you have to own like 6 or 7 different services. And it's the same exact problem with television shows. Like it used to be, you could just subscribe to 1, maybe 2, or if like barring that, like your friends could, and you could share the accounts so they were still making money, but it wasn't good enough. Now they had to make it so that you can't share accounts with people, and you have to have like 12 different services just to watch like a handful of shows. And they don't even have all of the shows of that season either, because there's a lot of shows that don't get Western releases for like a year. So if you don't go to these websites, like you just have to sit there and wait and hope and pray that a certain show is going to get like a subtitled release.
And well, and the other thing is too is like I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Akiba Maid War, great anime to watch. It's pretty recent. It's 2022 recent, but I saw it when it came out. If you ever want to have a field of emotions to run through, that's a pretty good one, because it can be the funniest thing you've ever seen, or it can be the most serious, heart-wrenching. It gets in there. It's great.
I love Akiba and I love maids.
Well, and so this is kind of the way I feel about Akiba Maid War, in case you guys want me to explain this a little bit too. Akiba Maid War is a historical piece. It takes place, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in like the late 90s. I can't remember. It takes place like in the past. I have to watch it again. But the way I feel about it is that it reminds me of VTubers. Like, just imagine if you will, VTuber companies that are like, they're pretty much giving you a product, which is the maids. The maids are the product. So Akiba Maid War is set in, obviously Akiba, with dozens of different companies, different cafes with different themes. And the one that it focuses in on is about pigs. It's the oink. It's oinky doink. Listen, you're laughing, but it's the cutest goddamn thing ever. And when the show opens, you kind of get a setup to a character, which is also a setup to the antagonist, more or less. Like everything kind of, it makes sense as you watch it, obviously, like most things in media. But we have VTuber companies that are kind of like this. So they're kind of like the underdog that just kind of, for some reason, keeps getting by. And everyone around them keeps failing or dying. It again, if you get the energy to watch it, it's gonna be goated. See, look they have like little cute, they have little cute,
okay,
pig stuff.
You've won me over now. I'm interested in this show now.
It's not very over the top. It is, again, it's a historical piece. So you have to remember, there's not a lot of shit that we have back then. It's not there. But if you see it, it's a good shit. Yeah, it's pretty fucking good. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the only ones recently that I've seen that I've been like, yeah, this right here. But I would like to believe that it's not because it was on Crunchyroll or High Dive. I would like to kind of believe that it was more or less from people pirating it and then saying, yeah, this is fucking great. In fact, they had, around the time that I think Anime Expo was happening this past year, they had a little pop-up shop.
Yeah, I saw the pop-up shop. I didn't know it was a reference to this. That's funny.
Yeah, it's straight up licensed and they just threw stuff in there. It's great. I would recommend. But it only has a 7.59. It's obviously fucking mid. That's a whole different argument. But like, I would like to believe that it was from piracy, that people saw it and they were like, "Oh no, this is actually goated." The normies haven't found this one yet. But you would almost never know about it unless you just, scrolled through somewhere and said, "Oh, this looks interesting. I'm gonna watch that." I don't think anyone was watching. They weren't watching the deer anime. They were watching that on Crunchyroll. Get out of here.
Yeah, Shikanoko Noko Noko Koshi Tantan became popular because of people that people that were spreading it online. It had nothing to do with Crunchyroll.
A lot of the people that watch Full Metal Alchemist, a lot of them pirated it.
Yeah.
Bleach back in the day, it was pirated. I was one of those people because I couldn't watch it that late at night most times, and I wanted to keep up with it because it was just really fucking good. And so I had to go and pirate it. I think Azumanga Daioh, I want to keep it forever. I used to own the DVDs, they're gone now. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it pirated because I've already gave them my money, and ADV just died. Again, when companies die or get devoured, you lose a lot of those precious memories and anime.
Well, we talked about this on several episodes of the podcast in the past, but when Funimation went under, a lot of people had bought entire series, movies, all sorts of stuff on the Funimation website, and Crunchyroll refused to recognize those licenses, and they just went, nah, you're SOL, sorry, buddy. And a lot of those anime didn't even end up on the Crunchyroll website.
Like Vega said, Bleach was on Crunchyroll when it was free and a pirate site. Yeah, those were the good old days.
Yeah.
And then because man, I can't tell you how many times I would obviously publicly download anime to my PSP, and then I would just watch it when I was on the bus. Just like, yeah, I want to watch my anime in peace, thanks.
Yeah. John in the chat said
ADV.
He said same thing happened when Funimation bought Genion. Are the Genion anime even on Crunchyroll? Now that I don't think know.
So.
Because
I think Neon Genesis Evangelion was like one of the biggest examples because they had the license to it and then they probably lost it. But don't quote me because I actually don't know the answer. Someone has to have it. No, they don't have it on there. I'm making sure because I'm really fucking stupid, so I want to make sure. Yeah, it's not on there.
It's funny searching Crunchyroll website. It's like I see articles like Funimation allows licenses of some Genion titles to expire. Oh God.
Yeah, that's again. I hate the whole thing. That's why a lot of the anime games that came out on like the DS, like kind of in that weird era, like the PS2. Kind of thing. A lot of those anime games never came here to the West, and it was probably due to popularity and or licensing issues. Think about it this way. You remember Jump Superstars? Have you ever heard of that game?
Yes. I loved that game.
Yeah, obviously we got what we got later for the PS3 and the PS4 with J-Stars Victory Versus, but back in the day, people were like, oh my God, I get to play this awesome Smash-like game. It has all my favorite animengos in it. Bring it to America. And they were kind of like, sorry, man, we have to divide up these licenses really far. So if they were to have released that game, each person that would have like had the license would have got like actual pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, and none of them would have been satisfied with it. So obviously, they couldn't get everybody to agree, so the game was never released. And that's one of the biggest problems back in the day of all these different companies, like having all these different licenses. I mean, we still cannot get Macross.
Soon the nightmare will be over.
God, I hope so.
But, you know, I just kind of find it very strange that as modern technology continues to evolve, we somehow keep getting these weird issues with licensing and with availability.
Yeah, and we live in an era in which none of these things should be problems anymore. I mean, the internet, it's not like it was. The internet is everywhere. Everybody has a high-speed connection for the most part. So it's like, yeah, you guys should like really streamline your stuff. I mean, because here's what's going to happen. What's going to end up happening is companies like Crunchyroll are going to screw around. They're going to mess around. They're going to play with the availability of works. They're going to play with mistranslating the works. And then these companies are going to get together and be like, why would we waste money letting this Western company do it when we can just do it ourselves on our websites, and then we can make the money directly? Why do we need Western interlopers to be the middleman when we could translate the works and we could release them, and then we could hire people to dub the voices, and then we could do everything ourselves, and then we make all the profit? That's gonna be that's the hell scenario for people like Crunchyroll, and it's coming. The more they screw around, the more they're gonna find out.
I just like I don't know. I always feel very conflicted about most of these things because, like, again, when you look at history as it stands, like, we eventually get things, but it takes far too long, and then the interest wanes.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we get pretty close now. You remember good old console creators, Sega? Well, you remember they died, right? Then they shifted to just software.
Yeah, we're just gonna make games now. Sorry, Dreamcast fans.
Well, it's like, so we had the Sega Saturn that came out. How many games are in America from Sega Saturn? Virtually none. There's a couple of them.
I like went through my brain and I'm like, oh wait, no, that was a fan translation. Oh no, that was a fan translation. Oh well, I was like, whoops.
And you know what? Actually,
Lunar.
This is gonna feed into my next point. You guys are like, Necro, shut the fuck up. But trust, I got something cooking. So the Sega Saturn, when it came out, hardly had any games for America, and that is because Sega of Japan was ruling the roost over there. They said, no, you're not getting our dev kit, idiot. And then they said, just fend for yourselves, figure it out. So they couldn't code anything for this console. Most of the games that were for the Japanese Sega Saturn were mostly arcade games because Sega made arcade machines back in the day. It's like, that's just what they did. So it sold extremely well there. Whereas here it was like, sorry, man, $400? I can't do that. PlayStation then came out and said, yeah, $299, and then they just walked off stage. Thanks, man.
Yeah, $299 US dollars. Gone. Done.
Yeah. And then
drop mic.
He left. Yeah, that was their mic drop moment. And everyone was like, holy shit, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they just, like, they made these things. So all of those Japanese games, you're not probably going to get to play them ever unless you pirate them. The same way with this anime is that you'll probably never get to, like, at this point, you'll probably never get to see it. What is it? Violence Jack? Is that it? People don't know what that is. Yeah, Violence Jack. Have you ever heard of Violence Jack?
I have heard of it, but that's mostly because of the internet.
Well, again, you can't watch it anywhere. You have to pirate it. Sorry, man. Violence Jack it's a cult classic for a reason. That's how anime become cult classics, or whatever you want to call them, because you can't really watch them availably. Like, availably is a word I made up, so don't worry about it. But like, you can't just go there and watch it on Crunchyroll. You can't even watch it in most of the places that you would usually look. Violence Jack gets bad, by the way. So if you're not one for, like, the actual worst things you've ever seen, just don't watch it. He made Devilman. Yeah, he made Devilman, but trust, Violence Jack is like, if you know, you know. Someone's gonna say something and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, someone brought up in chat that Discotech did a DVD and a Blu-ray release. See, this is why I love Discotech, because they're going back and saving a lot of these shows.
I have a love-hate relationship with Discotech.
Well, they've definitely, like, when they're on, but they've made some questionable choices in terms of who they work with sometimes. Yes. They have unfortunately worked with some of our least favorite lol cowalizers here and there.
if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong about this, but Discotech, they do. Discotech has the licensing for Symphogear Season 1 on Blu-ray. I'm not buying it from them. And it's not like, why aren't you supporting media? Well, for one, I already have all three of the ones that I currently have right now because I imported them. So I spent like hundreds of dollars to get
Damn,
these.
son.
Yeah, I'm like dedicated to the real struggle with Symphogear. Now, notice that I only said Symphogear because there's like 5 seasons total. Guess what they don't have?
2 of the
I
seasons?
think they tried to put them out. No, they don't have. I think they don't even have the latest one. They might. Maybe they put it up somewhere. But I don't think I've ever seen them around. Maybe they are just, I don't know. They're just out in the ether. Someone's gonna be like, Necro, you're an idiot. They do have it. Actually. But I don't know. I feel like if you wanted to watch Symphogear, you had to go through fucking Crunchyroll. And no one wants to do that. You might as well just... See, you know what? I got something for you. The people that like Crunchyroll but tell you that you play Chinese spyware gacha games, they are the most unfun people. Because you have to essentially give up a lot of your information to be able to pirate a lot of this shit. Oh, well, I use a VPN. Who do you think gets the information? It doesn't just like... My computer's protected. Yeah, okay, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it too much. That's why the anti-wave disappearing. Fuck them. I'm done. I hate it here.
Well, and that brings me back to what I was talking about because the ACE, the company that I was talking about, they are a conglomerate. Here's the Wikipedia. You know, I normally don't bring up Wikipedia, but this actually has the info on it here. So they're the Alliance for Creativity and Entertainment, and these are the guys that are going after all these pirate sites. And this is, you know, it's like the stated mission of the ACE is to prevent piracy, drawing on the anti-piracy resources of the Motion Picture Association of America. They plan to conduct research into online pirating, lobby law enforcement to stop and sue pirate enterprises, file sweeping civil litigations, and to, quote, pursue voluntary agreements with responsible parties across the internet ecosystem. So these are all of, and I'll even zoom in here so you can see it a little better. These are all of the companies that are part of for the Alliance for Creativity and Entertainment. So it's Amazon, Apple TV, AMC, Aniplex, BBC Studios, you know, Channel 5 in Britain, Comcast, Crunchyroll, Fox, HBO, Hulu, MGM, NBC Universal, Netflix, Paramount, Sentai Filmworks, which I didn't know they were owned by AMC. That's news to me. I probably knew it and I just forgot it. Sony Pictures, Walt Disney, Warner Brothers. Yeah. So, yeah, there you go right there. Because I saw some Crunchyroll stands that were like, oh, Crunchyroll had nothing to do with this. Read it and weep. Right there. Right there, Crunchyroll.
Well, the way I feel about that, I don't know if we're ready for the segue, but don't worry, I'm going to set you up for the next part. But the way I feel about Crunchyroll stands is the way that I feel about the Niji sisters. They will fight to the fucking death for their company. A company that, quite frankly, doesn't really like them all that much. But, you see, people that love Crunchyroll, they love getting abused. What do you think Crunchyroll Expo is? What do you think the what was it, Miku Fest? The Miku tour
my
that
God,
they did?
don't get me started on the Miku Fest. That was a disaster.
So, like, you know, obviously they make, and again, I could go into the entire history of Crunchyroll. I'm not going to do that today. I'm only here for a little bit. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. But like,
here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, like Crunchyroll is like, they are actually evil. They're just really inept. They are located. I know how people like to shit on California. You were there with me, and I think you got to see California through the lens that I kind of see it through, as being somewhere in the East. But when you're there, again, everything makes sense. But when you get into the city, thankfully we didn't go there. When you get into the city, that's where you find The Crunchyroll people. They're walking around in plain
The
sight.
Crunchyroll Americans.
Yeah, the Crunchyroll Americans. They're walking around in plain sight, and they kind of don't hide it either. But remember, they spent all of this money to recreate their entire office to look Japanese inspired. Now, I'm not saying, and it kind of brings me to another weird point, because our good old friend Darkside Phil, he's been on a resurgence. He's been on
a Crunchyroll lately.
Oh, sorry, on a renaissance is the way he put it. And like, this happens the same, but I this will be for like way later. But the way that he's upgrading his office looks like the shit that he complained about other streamers having. So he has the entire foam on the background, so it covers almost the entire wall. He has this little like LED light thing that you can like upload GIFs and stuff to, and it kind of goes through like a slideshow of those. It'll show like your sub count. Like, it's one of those things. They're like $140.
He literally went on stream with Kino Casino once and then tried to like ape their entire style.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying this like as a slight against them, because I have like way more opinions, but he kind of stole their personality because he doesn't have one. He doesn't have an identity, so he had to steal the one that they gave him, and then he also stole their personality. That's why he's like, "Oh, you guys got felted. The character's felted." I'm like, bro, no one's getting felted here. But again, but the way that he upgraded his entire office, is how Crunchyroll upgraded theirs. They don't care about giving you anime. They really don't give a fuck about giving you quality. They really want you to just give them money for a subpar service. The same thing with Netflix. I don't pay for Netflix because I don't like to enable pedophiles. I think that Netflix, when they started endorsing cuties, I said, "Oh, okay, man."
That's when I canceled my Netflix subscription. I was like, "No, I'm not dealing with this." And I was the one in like the apartment that had the Netflix. I was like, "Sorry, bud, I'm gonna cancel. I can't send these people money anymore." That was no.
Yeah, and again, I know that like my money goes somewhere else for a different different PDF file to have, but at least I know that it's not directly going to Netflix and they can eat shit. But Netflix had a problem with, again, they want to talk about piracy and how like, it kind of just exists and how they lose numbers, which is why they stopped the sharing of accounts and stuff. Well, look at what happened. All of their shit leaked. And then the one thing that they were talking about, and like, I don't know, the people were hyper focused on, you guys shouldn't watch this because it leaked. You guys should watch it as it's officially released. No, Netflix can go fuck themselves. I pay them money, like me, the consumer, pay them money to have a service that is of quality and a place that I can rely on, and they're constantly getting hacked. They leaked an entire season. And like, what am I supposed to do about this as the consumer? I get emails, or not even emails, I get actual physical mail from AT&T. Hey, man, we had a little bit of a fucky wucky. Somebody may have stole your information, but we're working really closely with law enforcement. It's too common in our era.
We're sorry. I see Lumi in the
Social
chat
security
there.
thing.
Hey, Lumi.
Hi, Lumi. The social security thing happened. Do you remember if everyone's like 3
so they may have
people
accidentally released everybody's social security number to hackers. Oh boy, here we go.
And I did look it up with a tool, the one that they said is the good one to use. And thankfully, which I guess depending on how you look at it, thankfully mine was not affected, but my mom's was affected. And
now I'm curious. Send me that tool. I want to look up it. I would be one of the unlucky ones, probably.
Listen, Occo, I thought you were gonna like just be in here. I think it'd be more beneficial, so that way we can.
I have a luck stat of like -5. If something bad's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to me. I'm like reverse Kazuma.
They literally could have just erased my debt. If you're gonna steal my social security number, at least erase the debt, or at least I could say, "Hey, it was compromised. I didn't open this," and then
use
I get it for free.
The Chase trick on your bank account and deposit it into my bank account. How about that?
Okay,
you can give me $30,000.
Okay, Someone told me about this today because I looked at it last night and I didn't know what in the world I was looking at. And then the artist TK, the one that made my the one that everyone knows.
Hi, Occo. Okay, I have to recognize Occo because Occo's calling me out. Okay, you say hi to the natal woman, but not the octopus. Okay, hi, Occo. You have been noticed.
but what if? I'm just kidding. But like, listen, she's having fun on level 1, but I don't know. The people could have just did anything they wanted to with my social security number. They just refused to. They had the power to change it. Oh yeah, that's right. The money thing, the Chase Bank thing. But as I was told today by TK, he says, oh yeah, people were like writing checks to themselves and then depositing it, and then like I guess he said like withdrawing it, and so they thought it was like infinite.
It was
money
literally
or
check
like
fraud.
Yeah, and apparently the people that did do it, well, they're waking up now and they're like in the negative, like tens of thousands of dollars because they did it so much.
Yeah, because the way that checks work is a lot of banks will, like, once you deposit a check, it'll automatically credit that amount to your account. But what the check does is it goes through a process where it's like verified and authenticated on it. There's an entire system that authenticates these checks. And of course, it takes a little while because if it's from another bank, they have to contact that bank. And there's a whole like process that goes through it. And so it doesn't immediately verify whether the check is valid. And so what they were doing is they were writing these checks, these bogus checks, cashing them, and withdrawing the money immediately. But when the verification system catches up and you know says, oh yeah, this check is bogus, take away the $30,000 or whatever the check gave them, they're in the negative by a ton, enough that Chase is obviously going to go after these people over this.
It's, you know, like I can't say the quiet part out loud, but I think we saw the videos of you know who's doing it.
Oh yeah, we it wasn't a very good idea to do it and then post it all over social media. That's very
listen, guys. I meant millennials. I didn't mean the other thing you thought, idiot.
He meant millennials and TikTokers. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because they report themselves doing it. They record it, and then they want nothing bad's gonna happen. What do you think? They're gonna fucking check my bank? Oh, wait a minute. What's this notice in the mail?
What's this notice in the mail that starts with the with a law firm's name?
Wait a minute. Someone in what versus me? I got a court summon. What? I don't know. That probably didn't happen. Not yet, but it will. It'll show up overnight.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, one of my IRL friends, we were talking about it, and he's convinced that nothing's going to happen to most of these people. He's like, nah, and he gave a very political reason why, and I get where he's coming from, but no, I think when you mess with a bank, it's different. When you mess with a bank, they want their money, and these are like probably millions of dollars. I might even be underestimating, like millions of dollars people have withdrawn. They're coming for that money.
You know what? This was like a perfect flat circle because they were trying to pirate money the same way that we can no longer pirate anime. Wow.
Yeah, you did bring it back full circle. And I'm going to bring it back.
Weird.
And I'm going to continue that circle by circling into some super chats. Let me scroll back up here. All right, this is Chaos Smash 64 said, I convinced a friend to cancel her Crunchyroll subscription. Based. Don't give them a cent. Not a dime. Not a dime. I will never pay for Crunchyroll. Never pay.
Based and consumer pilled. We need to take back our rights as consumers, but we all know that consumer activism is a lie, so it doesn't matter.
Unless it's Bud Light. That actually worked. I was shocked.
They were committed. See, consumer activism can work if you're committed. Boycott Hoyoverse? Hello?
What a disaster. That I knew that would fail immediately. I was like, yeah, that ain't happening.
Can we boycott Hoyoverse? I still need to log in, though. I need my dailies, okay? I'm just not going to spend any money, okay?
That's how they win.
Great ethics.
It's the gift. This is how I win. Dean Domino 25 for $4.99 says, best description I heard for the MPAA and the equivalent in the music industry was the copyright mafia, and that they're the biggest threat to the internet. Yeah, and they are, and they have been, and they still are to this very day.
Listen, Sparky, here's the simple solution. You just open like 5 different windows, right? You can do 4 windows at a time on Windows, on your Windows PC. Just do that, and then you can open up your phone and watch it on there. That's what I do, and that's how I have the brain rot that I have. That's how I watch so many VTubers. This is actually how it works. I turn on like 5 different streams. One's on the big screen, and then the other 4 are like kind of hanging out. And I have all of the volume on for them.
RP in the chat has a very, very poignant question. How is this Solo Sunday if you have a guest? Well, it was Solo Sunday at one point, but then Necro's like, hey, I'm going to call in. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just calling in because I'm leaving like right now, like literally right now.
Yeah, so it was going to be a solo stream, but he wanted to come in and shit on Crunchyroll because he's
anytime
the king of talking shit about Crunchyroll.
Listen, anytime I can shit on Crunchyroll, I'm going to be the guy. Apparently that's my role in this grand scheme of the internet, is to be the Crunchyroll hater. I am the Kendrick to their Drake.
They not like us.
They are a fan, and they know it. But yeah, that's actually it. So you have a fun rest of the podcast. And talk about the Nijisanji thing. Don't worry, I know it's going to be fucking glorious.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to get into right now after this is the Nijisanji stuff, because that's a whole rabbit hole in and of itself. And for once, Nijisanji's actually not the bad guy.
Right, I said big if true, but I didn't say they did it.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of how everybody kind of phrased it. They were just like, oh, this is kind of, if this is true, this is not good.
Oh, don't worry. When you get to the last part, it's going to be a fucking hoot. But all right, I will see you later, Mr. Gator. Chat, don't be weird.
Chat's always good. The chat always behaves, right? Chat never wilds. All right, let me find the right. There it is. All right, so we're back to Solo Sunday. Chaosman64 for $2 said, I found Full Metal Alchemist for PS2 at a store. Holy crap. I mean, sometimes you can find some rare treasures at some of these like pawn shops, or there's some stores that specialize in selling like antique stuff. I can't remember what it's called, but we have one here where like you can find a bunch of old games. Like I found a bunch of Genesis games there, but obviously they're like way too overpriced because they look at the sales online and see how much they're selling for, and they mark them up accordingly. So I never buy from places like that. I happen to have all of the Genesis games I need, and I will not elaborate further. Yeah. Nerdy texts an accountant for $4.99, says Necro comes in, smack Crunchyroll around, then leaves. Yes. Arrive. Rock bottom Crunchyroll. Leave. He says that is actually where I found. Oh yeah, one of those little stores. I wish I could remember the name of that store. I haven't been in there forever because I wasn't a fan of all of their prices. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Okay, so we're going to segue into the Nijisanji stuff. So, if you guys aren't aware, a couple of days ago, actually may have been, when was it? Like the 30th, I think it was. Yeah, it was the 30th. Yeah, so Friday. So Friday, Korekore, who's described as Japanese Keemstar, that's not a term of endearment. That is an epithet. that is used in a very derogatory fashion in Japan. So he revealed that there was somebody that was secretly recording VTubers that they weren't aware, and he seemed to insinuate that they had a relationship to Nijisanji. The way that he phrased it seemed to imply that they may have been part of the staff. Of course, we found out later this was not the case. But the way that it was worded had a lot of people speculating that it had something to do directly with the company, when the company and the livers were actually victims. So we have a Parrot tweet here. He says, and I want to remind people that this was before we found out, because I've seen a lot of the stands, of the Niji stands, have gone out and tried to they've tried to play Monday morning quarterback after the Korekore stream was revealed and be like, oh, they lied about, they did this on purpose. They were trying to defame Nijisanji. And it's like, look, Nijisanji doesn't need any help ruining its own reputation, okay? They do that on their own. But this is the one instance in which Nijisanji is actually the victim and not the bad guy. Yes, Yellow Lantern in the chat says, a VTuber scandal where the company was not in the wrong. Yes! The rare situation where the company was not responsible for this. And that's something I do really want to emphasize, is that unless there was unless it comes out later that a whistleblower had contacted them about this before and they did nothing, that Nijisanji did nothing wrong. I know that's weird for me to say that, but yeah. So this was the tweet that we all saw that everybody reacted to. Kyo, Rima, Falls, Parrot, Nulsagi, literally everybody. Kirsha, yeah, here's the Kirsha's post. And she's quoting the translation of the Korekore tweet, which was, "We will report violations committed by those involved with the VTuber." See, and this is the way he worded it. Those involved with the VTuber agency Nijisanji. It was left deliberately vague, I think, and this is where he lives up to his Japanese Keemstar moniker, is that it was deliberately vague and clickbaity enough to trick people into thinking that it was somebody directly at the company that had done something when it was not. John in the chat says Korekore is Japanese PPP. Well, no, because Korekore is like, he's a lot larger than, okay, his numbers, his viewers, his subscriptions are a lot larger than that. But the muckraking absolutely is very similar. Yes, very similar. Yes. Yeah, and book off. I'm not sure what you mean. It says, I'm so confused. There's always something happening with them, but yeah, I'm still learning about VTubers and companies. Yeah. The thing is that the VTuber industry is still growing very rapidly. And so there's a lot of companies that are starting up, making mistakes, and flaming out. And there's a lot of companies that have been established and been around for a while that just like can't help but do stupid stuff, because of whether it's like the way they do it over there versus the way we do it over here just catches them off guard, or they just don't know the differences in the laws. There's all sorts of stuff that can trip up a VTuber company. Imagine if that were called the Japanese Keemstar. Who'd be the Boogie 2988? That's a good question. I'll leave it to chat to figure out who the Japanese Boogie is. I don't know if... do we know any crypto scammers that have liar tattooed in kanji on their face? I don't think we do. Yeah, it's wild to me about how a company keeps taking L's but doubling down over and over. I know, and this is why people had the worst absolute possible take away from this, is because like Nijisanji has messed up so much that people were not going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. And I don't think anybody did anything wrong here, assuming the worst of Nijisanji. Because we're so used to them being the bad guy. It's the Bart meme, right? You know, Marge screams, "Bart, what? I didn't do anything. Sorry, just force a habit." It's a force of habit at this point. So, and this leads us to the actual stream, where I'm going to bring up Under the T's tweet here about it. So the alleged culprit is a sound engineer they had been using for songs and covers, and worked for a company. You can't make this stuff up, right? The company, literally Yab. Yabai. Yeah, Yab. The company is Yab, guys. Yeah, it was a contract. It was a contractor. Yab. I thought it was, I couldn't believe it. I thought I had been taken for a ruse cruise when I saw that, because it's like the simulation is breaking at this point. It seems like we're conditioned. Yeah, the situation is so different, though. They didn't take a hit. It's a contractor that breached their trust under their watch. Yeah. Sound the bell. Yes, that's right. Yes, sound the tard bell. So what happened is that, and this is one of the biggest, like, music contractors in Japan. They do work with a lot of different companies, a lot of different singers and actors, etc. So, like, this is a huge, like, this is just the, like, in the little VTuber sphere, like, this is a big deal, but this is one of those situations that it's going to explode outside of just VTubing. Because Nijisanji and Anycolor weren't the only companies that contracted with this person. There were a ton. And the fact that they were secretly recording people, they were like taking like private photos of them and like sharing their information and like with third parties and stuff. Like, that is a huge no-no under Japanese law. Like, you think our right to privacy is like big here? Oh man, in Japan it's a whole different story. And so as a result of that, Nijisanji's actually privated a lot of their music videos, 3D debuts, anything that company worked on has been like privated. And there's a bunch of tweets that have been deleted. Like, it's apocalyptic for the music industry in Japan. That is a ton of trust is gone now. And so, you know, I don't want to bring this. So people have been speculating on like they've been kind of digging into stuff. I'm not going to bring this tweet up. I'm just gonna, like, on screen, I'm just gonna read it, because they started to speculate like different livers that may have been involved, and had the person had like leaked info on or whatever. So I'm not going to bring up the tweet. I'm just going to read what they said. So they said that 5 livers were filmed privately, and it's done by an audio engineer that was outsourced from Yab for 4 years. Said person is a big deal, having worked in First Take, etc. Aphrodisiacs were apparently used. Yeah, so not only did this person like leak like pictures of them that could be used to get their identity and information about them, he apparently like slipped stuff in their drink, which is disgusting. Yeah. Aphrodisiacs, yeah. And I know people have they've looked up a particular VTuber that mentioned feeling sick after recording with them. Once again, I'm not going to mention the name of that VTuber, but it definitely seems to line up with a lot of the stories that have been coming out about this. So it could maybe it's just totally unrelated, but yeah, it definitely seems like there was some bad stuff going on. So this is actually from where is it? Yeah. So this is actually from Reddit. So somebody that speaks Japanese natively actually went through and listened to the stream. I don't know if this is like an alt account or something, but somebody actually went through and kind of transcribed for English speaking audiences what Korekore talked about. And so this was Spiritual Ad 6613. I assume that is somebody's alt account. This is on the Kurosanji subreddit. So he said, this appears to be a brief summary of the contents. Unauthorized photography by Yab and posting to group chats and limited streaming within a few group chats from the studio. This studio is owned by Yab, has nothing to do with Anycolor. So Mr. Yab has a history of working with several well-known music groups as well as Nijisanji. In other words, simply put, he is a well-known person in the Japanese music industry in his own right. Apparently, Yab, a music producer, has mixed music for various idol groups, including Nogizaka 46 and Nijisanji. In other words, Anycolor is the victim, and it remains to be seen whether Anycolor will move forward. And we'll get to Anycolor's statement here in just a moment. They made the announcement as a warning to the industry. Since Yab works not only with Nijisanji, but also with various idol groups, they probably just put Nijisanji, who is well known in the face of VTubers, in the title as a warning to the industry. I have my own personal theory about that. I think that, because if you guys remember, Korekore was the one that broke the Mikaneko story. And I think that, knowing that and having that in mind, I think he chose to mention Nijisanji because it would get the most press, in the East and in the West. Since, Nijisanji and Anycolor have a bad reputation, I think he knew that was like perfect. It was perfect to clickbait on that. And it was very effective. A lot of people got caught up in it. Myself included. Myself included. Let's see. As of now, it seems that it is impossible to prove this as a crime because the photos and that's another thing. The photos taken were not of an illicit nature. It was pictures of faces, which is still bad, but they may not be able to necessarily prove that anything illegal was done, because hearsay is still hearsay. The informant was a former employee of the company Yab was operating for, and it appears that the information was provided by someone who was leaked information by the company, a whistleblower. This time, Yab was unable to participate in the streaming because of time and work. So I think they said the whistleblower was unable to participate. It seems that Korekore has already reported this to Anycolor, and they are talking about taking some action. He could not elaborate on this. It's probably due to confidentiality issues with the company, etc. There was also an exchange in which it appeared if Yab had given the other creators an aphrodisiac. However, it is not clear whether this was a conversation exchanged in jest. Okay, so it's a possibility that it may have been a joke. Is what this person is saying. Other people have said that they've taken it for a step further, and like I said, they found that one VTuber talking about feeling sick after being there at the studio. So once again, like, you have to take a lot of this with a grain of salt until we get like 100% confirmation behind all of this stuff. You know, these are still allegations. None of this has been 100% proven yet. So I want to add that caveat in there. So they continue, says this is completely unfounded and completely his speculation, but okay, so there's the person. I'm just going to skip that and not mention it. That person being sick at the studio. So since the music that Yab has been involved in seems to have been shut down one after the other, there is no doubt Anycolor's working on various measures. So that's kind of the quick and rough translation of that. So flash forward to today, and we actually got a statement from Nijisanji. And let me see if I can pull this up here. So this is a tweet from Rima. Let me bring this up real quick here. Yeah. So she links to the tweet here. Let me go ahead and zap that away. Okay. So it says, I woke up to major news from Anycolor. The Korekore stream happened and they are now responding with their own statement. The individual in question that leaked the photos to a third party is a musician hired by the company in charge of mixing, mastering, and recording. There are also suspicions that the target has used illegal physical force against one of our affiliated live streamers, is a worrisome line. Anycolor says they will continue to investigate the matter and might seek criminal charges and will provide adequate support to their affiliated livers who have concerns about the matter. In addition, they've removed all content the individual was involved in. This includes social media posts, covers, songs, etc. There also seems to be a few more stories coming out, alleged spiked drinks, and negative testimony from an ex-Nijisanji liver and so on, but that is included in the statement, and I'm still gathering all the stories. Nothing is confirmed yet, as this is a developing story. However, I plan to gather all the testimonies and stream about it tonight. I don't know, did Rima ever get her stream off? Did she ever get her stream going tonight? I don't think so. I'm looking. I don't see. Yeah, I don't think they have yet. So this is Anycolor's full statement, and I can't read Japanese. So there was a line in here that I may have missed. That Kirsha says is implying that it's like an if. It's not saying they're going to go after people that have commented on the past. It's like an if people continue to say that Nijisanji or Anycolor were involved, that they would go after them. I see Occo in the chat says, I must go. I have a member stream to do. If you have questions about the interview, you can DM me. Yeah, sure. If I have a question when I get, because that's going to be the next segment after this, is I'm going to get into the interview. I'll DM you and we can get to the bottom of it. So this is once again, this is Google Translate. Google Translate is somewhat accurate, not always. Gets a lot of stuff wrong. Gets a lot of stuff wrong very, very frequently. So this is what Nijisanji had to say. So they said they secretly photographed the appearance of an individual said to be a live streamer affiliated with our company during an external influencer's YouTube broadcast. So what they're basically saying here is that Korekore revealed that all this information, that somebody that they contracted out with was leaking facial information and personal information of people that worked for Nijisanji. And let me find the part here that I was referring to. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so they terminated the contracts. So, and they took all of the videos down so that it was a lot of stuff. I'm not going to get into specifically what was down, but most of their music videos and 3D debuts are gone because this individual, this studio actually worked with them on those. Let me see. Yeah, so one thing I do want to agree with them on is don't go to their chats. Don't go to their chats and post a bunch of crap about this. Because once again, Anycolor didn't do this. Nijisanji wasn't responsible for this. This was somebody outside that did all of this stuff. So, like, don't go and do a bunch of dumb stuff, okay? Like, this is one of the instances where they're actually the victim in this. So I know my chat, they're good people. My chat's good. I got some great anime boomers in the chat. So I don't have to, but yeah, just don't, because like I know if the roles were reversed and this was happening to like FaZe or something, the Niji sisters, they would be doing it. Don't be like them. Don't be like the sisters. Don't mess with people. Don't take literally the worst possible approach. Yeah, Yelender's right. Yeah, don't be like them. Don't be like the sisters. Yeah, and yes, I Nijisanji, Anycolor, they do have a responsibility to vet the contractors that they work with. But to me, it doesn't sound like anybody had like there were no whistleblowers before this. And like maybe we'll find out later that there may have been, but as of this point, as of this exact moment, as I am speaking to you, I have not seen any evidence that they knew about this beforehand. And I have a hard time believing that if they did know about something like this, that they wouldn't have done something about this already. I want to believe. Yeah, so here's the statement I wanted to read here. So it says, please refrain from assuming that this incident was committed by a live streamer or employee of our company and spreading false information. We are considering preserving evidence and taking legal action against these malicious acts. See, my interpretation of this was a little different than a lot of other people's interpretations, because I remember Nijisanji going after false ID over stuff. And so I was wondering whether or not this was meant as anybody that talked about this and even remotely insinuated that we were involved, that we're going to go after them. I talked with Kirsha on Twitter, and she said that she thinks, and that the interpretation is, if people continue after this point to insinuate that they had anything to do with it, that they may seek legal action. And I hope that's the correct interpretation, because if not, that would be that would be a way to take a situation in which, like, you're actually the good guy and try to, like, become a little bit more the bad guy. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's like, hey, you know what's going on now. Report the accurate info. That's what I'm hoping. Of course, it hasn't stopped the usual crowd, the stands, from going out there and trying to, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, they've gone out there and tried to use this to whitewash away the bad stuff that Anycolor, that Nijisanji has been responsible for. And, like, yeah, you can try, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Yes, they weren't the bad guys this time, but that's not to say that they were innocent of everything else before. That doesn't say they're going to be innocent forever. So, yeah. So that's the Nijisanji stuff so far. I'm sure as we get more information, I feel like that this situation is going, especially when we find out, specifically, like, what information, because it's just very vague, like, who they were talking about. I'm sure eventually we're gonna find out, like exactly what he leaked. I really hope that Korekore is responsible and doesn't actually, like, show any of that stuff. But I guess we'll see. I had to actually, it was a reply to Parrot, I think, where I was like, yeah, I hope Korekore doesn't do the stupid thing and actually, like, removes the stuff. And it seems like he did so far. All right, so we're going to go into the Occo and Merryweather thing. So to give a little background to that story. So Merryweather had a post on Twitter, and I'll see if I can bring it up here real quick. I had it pulled up, but I closed it when Necro joined here. Let me scroll back up here. So essentially, what Merryweather, he was having a Minhara moment. Minhara, of course, is Japanese for mental mental illness or whatever. He's having a Minhara moment. He's kind of feeling bad about himself, and was lamenting essentially that, like, a lot of his cohorts, some of his fellow streamers, were doing better than him in terms of, like, numbers, in terms of viewers. And here, I'll pull it up here. I have it right here. Okay. So this was the tweet. So it said, sometimes it's stressful having a lot of people see. Says, I'll be blah 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 blah. Okay, this was not actually the tweet. This was their post. So they were going to do a stream, like, talking about the situation, and what ended up happening is that Merryweather actually called in and talked to the Under the Tea people. And I actually have the full stream here. I'm going to pull it up in just a second here. Going to do it live here. So that's what's happening to Merryweather. Yeah, he's having a Minhara moment. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us. Here, I'm going to pull the tweet up here. I forgot to bookmark it. So sometimes it's stressful having a lot of people see what I'm posting. I'll just be saying something to my own viewers, and then all these other communities will see it, and it'll be read in a way I never intended. It was some other event I was unaware of. And before that, he was lamenting about he was lamenting about like that other people were doing better than him at streaming and stuff. And like I get where he's coming from. I get it. You know, it's very easy to like, especially even if you're like a big creator, like, and I've seen big creators do this, like, because it's very easy, you know, if you're at like someone's at like 500 viewers consistently, but you have a friend that's at like 1,000 or whatever, it's very easy to like look and be like, oh, you know, their grass is so green or whatever. But like the way I see it is, if you're doing something you love, like the numbers come naturally over time from just doing what you love. Because when people see that you like to do something, they're going to want to be involved. They're going to get involved. They're going to post. They're going to share your streams. They're going to talk. They're going to send you super chats. Like all of this stuff just comes naturally from just doing the thing. And I get that like some people like have an unreasonable expectation of what their success can be. Like me, like I'm happy with what I've got. Like 50 or so people, that's perfectly fine with me. Like I get to do something finally where I'm not talking about stuff I don't care about, where I get to just kind of shoot the shit with chat, where I just like I get to have interesting people on and get to talk to them about like anime and stuff. And that's, you know, it gets into the drama stuff, yes, but it's not like the overall overarching thing where it's like, you know, sensationalizing everything and drama this and drama that. It's just shooting the shit with friends, talking about stuff we're all interested in, and on the occasion, shitting on people that we don't like. Or companies that we don't like in the case of like Crunchyroll. Like that stuff is fun. And it comes across that way to other people. But like everybody has those moments where they're like, you know, looking across the aisle and they're like, oh man, you know, I want to be doing this, I want to be doing that. And there's two ways to go about it. There's the way where you get like the pessimistic view where you're like sad that you're not at this level that you think you should be. And there's the optimist view where it's like, I know I'm not to this level yet, but this is what I aspire to. Like I want to get to this point. Merryweather's very talented. Yeah, and he is. He is very talented. And, you know, just because like somebody else is doing better than you, there's always, here's the secret. There is always going to be somebody that's better than you, that's more talented than you, that has more viewers than you, that makes more money than you. That is a universal constant in life. You know, even some of these billionaires, right? There's going to be people that have no money, that have happier lives than some of these billionaires. Like the grass isn't always greener. It's all about what you do with your own situation that matters in the end. But it's very easy. It's very easy to get into your own head, because I'm a very introspective person. You know, I'm always thinking about what I could do differently, ways I can approach stuff, different stream ideas, and it's very easy to get into that Minhera era where you're just like second guessing yourself and being like, well, you know, that didn't do as well as I thought it would, or like, you know, oh man, I can't get, you know, so and so locked into a date because my schedule doesn't work with their schedule. And it's very easy to be like intimidated by that and feel down, but it's a grind. That's why they call it the grind set mindset, man, when it comes to streaming, is because you cannot let little tiny failures or missed expectations take you out from doing what you care about. And I feel like that's what happened to Merryweather here is the expectation didn't match what he was going for. And he was looking at other people across the aisle, seeing how they were doing, and it made him feel inadequate, even though Merryweather has a ton of viewers, has a ton of support. I mean, to put it to you this way, I told this story. I was actually on stream with Clotho Melodium of Nexus. I was on his podcast last Sunday, and we talked about, you know, he did an interview with Merryweather. I talked about the story about how when I was at Offkai, I actually bumped into the little booth where Merryweather was streaming at. We had a short conversation. It was kind of funny because I didn't recognize him at first. Oops, my bad. Sorry, Merryweather. But no, like people with no audiences don't get stuff like that. And that would be like, if I could talk to Merryweather, that's what I would tell him. I would be like, you are very blessed. I know it's very easy to feel like other people are doing like so fantastic. I mean, if you look at like, what's his face? If you're looking at like, God, why is his name escaping me right now? I got streamer brain really bad. What is his name? Asmongold. God, why did I forget Asmongold's name? I've got streamer brain really bad right now. Yeah, Asmongold, right? Like, Asmongold lives in literal filth, and he has, like, way more viewers than either of us, and has, like, so many more super chats than any of us. Like, astronomically so. Like, I will never, ever see the numbers that Asmongold is making ever. Not in a million years. Not if I like had the most viral moment of all time and got like a bunch of people to watch my show. No, I will never ever reach Asmongold numbers. There's just no way. And you shouldn't like you should have high expectations, but you can't let not meeting those expectations drag you down. Yeah, and Nerdy Texan Accountant's right. He does so much more than just being a VTuber. So people who stream more often are more likely to get views. Yeah, he has his hands in a lot of different pots. And he's doing a lot of different things. Does he want PewDiePie numbers? Man, everybody wants PewDiePie numbers. I want PewDiePie numbers. Am I going to get them? No. Am I going to get 1% of them? No, probably not. Do I want them? Yeah. That's the dream, man. PewDiePie was my Oshi originally. That's what got me into this. Yeah, he was a webcomic guy at one point. I almost got into webcomics, but I can't draw worth a crap. So I didn't try my luck. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into the interview here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay. So this is actually on the Under the Tea channel. This is we interviewed Merryweather. I'm gonna let this play because I have to run to the bathroom real quick. So I'm gonna let the beginning of this play, but I'm gonna get my little earbuds ready so I can also listen along at the same time. But you won't be able to hear me in the bathroom, obviously, because it's not those kinds of headphones. It's not like Rand where he's got the headphones where you can hear him in the bathroom. It's not those kind of headphones. Let's see if I can get it working. See, I had to, everybody decided to talk to me today. I was very popular today. So I got like almost none of my stream stuff. None of my stream stuff was set up. So I had to do like all of that in the span of like an hour. Because I was very popular today. Everybody wanted to give me a phone call for some reason. This is why I don't like streaming on a Sunday. Always hope for the best. Always prepare for the worst. Yep, that's my motto. That's why I'm always like, yeah, you know what? Whatever numbers I get, if I get 5 people to watch my show, that's 5 people. I'm happy. If I get 20 people, I'm happy. 50, 100, 150. As long as people are entertained and people want to watch, I keep doing it. I'd still probably do it if I had like nobody in the chat. If I was just releasing podcast episodes and people watched it after the fact, yeah, I'd probably still release it. Because it's something I want to do. I have no expectations of this being my job. I have a real job, IRL. And that's another thing I think too, is you should set optimistic and reasonable expectations at the same time. It's like, I expect I'm going to be here. I'm probably going to be here. I'm okay with being here. if I don't quite make it to where I expect to be, that's okay. That just means keep fighting, keep grinding. That's something I need to do a little better myself, is I need to keep releasing content. That was kind of why I decided to do a solo stream today. Of course, it didn't end up being a total solo stream. Necro popped in for a little bit. So that was nice. So it wasn't a total solo stream, but I wanted to make sure, like, 'cause the thing is consistency. Like, being consistent is the most important thing when it comes to, like, live streaming. Like, having a consistent set schedule, which, of course, I work, so my schedule is, it's, oh God, I don't feel like streaming tonight. I'm so tired. Oh, okay. I wanted to stream, but I'm so exhausted from work, I'm just going to go pass out. And that's not very conducive to building an audience, unfortunately. But in my circumstance, I feel like my health is more important than just about anything. Because if I get sick and miss work, then I lose money. Okay, let me see if this is actually going to work. Okay, it just gave me the goodbye, so it didn't actually connect to my computer. I need to get me like a better Bluetooth headset that actually works. That's what I really need. So let me go ahead and turn this back on one more time here. Ah, there it goes. Bluetooth connected. Finally, let me make sure this actually works.
Thank you. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay, it didn't work in the headphones. Let me try again. Switch to those, then switch to these.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, now it's working.
Excellent. Nice to meet the two of you. I think it's the first time.
I'm gonna let a little bit of this
I
go,
believe.
and I'm gonna run to the bathroom real
You
quick.
in DMs before.
Yes. And I believe you've
Sorry.
responded to me once or twice, but like
Yes.
you've communicated with a lot of people on the internet, so it is no offense if you don't remember either of us.
I tend to come around to remembering, but I do. As you mentioned, I do talk to a lot of people.
Mhm.
So. But yeah, thank you for having thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
No, yeah, we
Although it is not. Yes, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say we pride ourselves, even though we're a podcast that talks oftentimes about drama or about VTubers, we try to give everybody a fair opportunity if we can. So, you know.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We don't believe that a lot of people do give that opportunity. So, yeah.
Not always.
Okay. So,
Would you like me to
okay.
would you like to introduce yourselves to me?
You go first, Mizu.
I just go by Mizu. Right now I am going by Mizu Tamari. We have talked before on my old Mizuhana Oshibe account.
Cool.
And
Good
I
talks,
don't...
hopefully.
I wouldn't say it was necessarily too productive, personally.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
We should preface...
Hopefully this one will be more productive.
Well, yeah, we should preface that both of us have read your stuff for multiple years. So we followed you.
Thank you.
At the very least for multiple years.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No, yeah, I mean, like, you've written some comics that I think a lot of people deeply enjoy.
Thank you. I love them too. Love
Yeah.
my comics.
Yeah, for sure. But I think there's just been a few times where we've observed, like, you know, you are a good. We do believe that you're good at what you do, but I think sometimes you get a little too bogged down emotionally, and really the main reason why I was talking.
There we go.
Like,
I'm back.
I was told by one of your fans who also talks to us. They're like, "Oh, Mary's getting really down, and this is just really sad." And I was like, "Okay." And so I was watching. I was like, "Well, hold on a moment. Some of this doesn't sound very right. Especially."
No, probably doesn't. If there's one thing about me is that I do tend to word things in a not always the best way. Sometimes I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
I think we can
mean,
all sympathize with that. I'm terrible with
I can
words
understand
myself.
that as somebody who was diagnosed at a young age with autism. It is kind of difficult sometimes to word things. But you know, I re-listened to the stream, and
Okay.
some of it like confused me because like the main thing that kind of like, and you said that your problem was that I called you ungrateful, and I think the reason why is and Mizu hasn't really had a chance to see the screen, but I wrote down notes. But like the big problem that I kind of have is you have in what many I guess like compared to most young indie VTubers a pretty sizable audience. And I know,
do. By all accounts, I have a big audience.
yes, and like I mean, like, is it as big as perhaps maybe Gagura or maybe some of the V Shoujo girls? I probably not, but like I would say, you know, if you want to compare it to most of
Yeah,
the,
Merryweather has
other
279,000
VTubers that exist, even
Twitch
some other
followers.
corpos, you probably have one of the larger fan bases out there. And I would say that your audience didn't really start when you decided to become a VTuber. Your audience kind of already followed you around on the internet because you're pretty famous at doing your writing and creating comments.
Yeah. Merryweather, I guess in some respects similar to me, went into VTubing already having an established somewhat audience, and so they followed him over from the stuff he was doing before into VTubing.
With the help of your artists. So I feel like you already had like a decent audience that followed you around, and you being a VTuber kind of just expanded into further into, I would say, the anime industry as a whole. So when you said that
one small correction, which may or may not be entirely relevant, but just on the off occasion that it might be, do you mind if I just make one slight statement on
go
that?
right ahead.
So it is true that I've had an audience that follows me around. The audience that watch me now are not the audience I debuted with. It is entirely different.
Okay. And
I don't know if that's relevant to you.
Well, you know,
No, I think that's pretty fair too. Because when I started talking about VTuber stuff, it brought in a lot of new people. And the way that streaming works is naturally people are going to tune in for the first time and stick with it. People that you've had watch your stuff for a long time are going to grow disinterested and drift away and go to other stuff. Like that is the life cycle. That's why I think Jim said like the average streamer has a life cycle of like 5 to 10 years. That's why, because at a certain point, the amount of people that are dropping out of your audience is just going to be naturally higher than the people that are coming into your audience. Like it's perfectly normal. That's a natural thing that happens. And unless, you know, some people come up with really clever ways to like reinvent their content, and it gives them a new fresh coat of paint and a breath of life. Most people just kind of fade out. That's the normal life cycle of things. But the way that the internet works, and you know, I have to quote Rand here, you know, no one ever just disappears unless they want to. The internet is forever, and no matter who it is, as long as they keep producing content, there's gonna be somebody that's in there. I mean, Lord have mercy, DSP, like we talked about earlier, he's existed for like a bajillion years at this point. DSP's never going away. It's just not going to happen. Even if he was streaming to like 10 people, one of which was giving him money, as long as he was still getting money, he'd still exist.
You say whatever you feel like you need to. I'm here to listen. How do you feel like? How do you know it's not the same audience? Like, do you know every single person that I guess explain what you mean by that.
Okay, so there's like 3 or 4 people maybe that are like carryovers.
Mm-hmm.
But I switched a lot. So my original audience were more American. I streamed in the late evening European hours, which is around when we're talking now. And now I stream at like, I think it's like 4 a.m. American hours.
Okay.
Plus I got an entirely different audience for a variety of reasons. It's honestly, it's not that relevant. It's just it's a noticeable difference. I went from a mainly male audience that came from my comics to a mainly female audience that were introduced to me through websites such as Bilibili or my collaboration.
Yeah, I ain't never happening for me.
In the field. It's very shifted, I would say, but it doesn't actually matter for the topic now. Maybe for what I'm gonna say later.
I mean, I guess it kind of matters. I mean, overall, I feel like it definitely matters. So you say that your audience has changed. Do you like how do you? I mean, like there's personal feelings, and I do agree that like personally, my audience from when I started streaming is a little bit different. I have like core people that have stuck around for the 5 or so years I've been streaming. But how do you know that like it's entirely different? Like, is it just because of all the places you pull from, or?
It's my approach to VTubing, I would say. I think, well, I don't know if you know much about how I started out, but just on the off occasion that you might not, I started out as one out of like a pair of VTubers that our studio produced, which was me and then Lumi.
Yes.
Who is from Finland.
Yes, I do remember that.
Even our designs are very much made to kind of fit together and like look nice next to each other. She's my cousin, and we've been doing stuff for a long time together.
There's way too many Lumis in VTubing. I feel like we should put them in like a battle royal.
Mainly a male audience that came from my comics,
right?
And what I have now is mainly a female audience, and mainly, you know, it's a very different vibe. Like I went from mainly sharing an audience with Lumi to streaming in an entirely different time slot and mainly having my own dedicated audience. We don't have too much audience overlap these days, but there are still people who, you know, are loyal and come watch both of us, and you know, we have a nice community. Some of my viewers go and watch her, but maybe not the most relevant to talk about. So I apologize for, you know, steering us away from the main topic.
No, you're good. You're good.
I feel like most streamers that get big on Bilibili have really large female audiences for some reason.
Because like when I was listening to you today, you were multiple times you just lamented that multiple people kind of like just left you by the wayside, and you feel abandoned by the followers that you have.
I wouldn't say I feel abandoned. I have very lovely followers who I love very dearly, and I tried my very best during that stream to make it known to them that I wasn't upset with my fans and that I love the fans of mine that are there right now. I think my frustration lies rather, and I do want to preface this by saying again that I probably shouldn't have said any of this on stream. I know that's rich. I think a lot of people have criticized me frequently for being too loose-lipped, not thinking too much before I say things, but I was in a very frustrated moment for another reason, which I can go into a bit later.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
I mean, like, again, like, I yes, 110% agree. That is not something you should have said on stream. And I mean, like, you probably know all the reasons why it's bad to vent yourself out like this, because you are going to have somebody that is watching that either might clip it or take it out of context. Thankfully, we're able to talk so that I actually can like get what you're trying to say across. But like
that's the way it came across, Sparky, was that it was like, the poor me thing.
Just to follow my thought line of what I said before.
Yeah.
My frustration isn't so much with my audience. I love my audience. They're all perfect. And honestly, if I never grow from this point on, I would still be happy. I would still love my audience and be very happy. I think my problem is that it's the fact that it's not in a vacuum, like VTubing and being a content creator doesn't happen in a vacuum.
No.
It happens on a wider scene. So one thing that I have is that I have a lot of followers on Twitch. I have so many, in fact, that I find it to be almost ridiculous, the amount of followers I have compared to.
But a lot of those followers, when you have a ton of followers, don't always get notifications, and they may not be active.
When I see that
active fans anymore,
and then I see the amount of people who watch me, And the ones who watch me are lovely. I love the ones who watch me. They're the ones who stayed, right? They're the ones who actually like me, and I love them for that.
Yes.
But you see how many versus how many you have, and
so no
you feel intimidated.
Complaints about my audience. They are perfect, just the way they are. It's just more like, it's like, imagine that many people. So I said on stream, I counted on stream, like compared to how many probably watch me per stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like a few hundred. Good numbers, excellent.
It's more than I
would
have.
Love to have that. Not ungrateful at all. Although I do understand some people might see it as a bit ungrateful that I even care about numbers when I have that amount of people watching me. But it's more like 278,000 Twitch people clicked follow. And that is the exact same amount of people who then found me uninteresting and left. And I've had like, there have been a few times in the past where I have been privy to why people left. And sometimes I don't.
I have to stop it there because this, like, I completely understand exactly what you're saying. I completely understand what he's saying, and I do sympathize with it because there are a ton of channels that have, like, and you've seen them. I've co-hosted on a couple where they will have a ton of people that actually subscribed, and like maybe 5% at best of those people actually regularly consume the content on that show. That is just the nature of the internet. I don't know who the dude is speaking, but you don't like his voice. That's Merryweather. That the VTuber Merryweather of Astroline. That is just the way he sounds. I know it with the accent and what he's saying, I know it comes across very negatively because it's yeah, I get it. What was I going with? Oh yeah. So like you're always going to only have a fraction of your audience watching at any given time, especially when you're a live streamer. It's not as big of a deal if you just make videos, because the way that it usually works is like when you release a video, those numbers are going to be like over time. So they're going to continue to build. Whereas if you go somewhere exclusively like Twitch, the only number that really matters is who's viewing exactly at that moment. And that's always going to be a fraction of the people that are actually following your channel. So I get it. And I can see how somebody with a ton of followers could feel a little intimidated by the fact that it's like, well, I have I have almost 300,000, followers, but, only a couple hundred are watching my content. Yeah, JT Vega's right. Yeah, he's a nice person. We get to know him better. Yeah, in my brief conversation with him at the accidentally stumbling into his meet and greet, he seemed like an all right person. Like he seemed like an okay person.
I don't always feel like the reasons they get upset is completely fair. There was one artist who I really, really enjoyed having as part of our community, who was a wonderful artist and a really, really sweet person who I really, adored having as part of our community, who talked with the others, organized things. They were a wonderful person. And they got upset at me, very, very upset at me one day.
He's overly sensitive. Yeah, he does seem definitely very sensitive to stuff.
And I was talking about how I started getting a lot of at that point I had started getting a lot of fan art, and I talked about how wonderful it is that I get so much fan art.
I get told sometimes really, really I don't react enough to stuff.
The only people who would post to my fan art tag were people I commissioned. They would post and use my fan art tag. So back then, those were more or less the only people who posted to my fan art tag.
Does not mix well when you interact with your friends.
So over the moon that now people were doing fan art without me having to pay them for it. They were just doing it because they love me. This artist was incredibly offended.
Man, that's the goal.
Such a thing.
That's the goal right there.
They were very, very offended.
Getting free fan art.
To this day, I don't fully understand why that offended them to that extent.
And No, yeah,
I mean, I get free fan art. It's just not stuff I can use on
so
stream.
That was something I remember you mentioning. So
Yes.
It's not because they love me either.
The follower thing is something that I was thinking of because, like, I mean, obviously, you know that you really don't just have 300 people watching you when it comes to streams, and I know this specifically from watching YouTube. My average right now is between 60 to 200 on a day when I'm talking about something exceedingly interesting, and that number
But these people cycle in and out, right?
Yes, people cycle in and out all the time. If I look at the end of my streams on YouTube, typically, yeah, I'll have like 200 CCV, but I'll have like 1,000 views. That means that like 1,000 different people clicked on the stream at one point, but 200 people were in the stream.
I think the problem comes when I compare it to other friends of mine.
Look at mine.
Who
300 people have cycled in and out of the stream.
Started way after me.
And I think I peaked at like
who, did their very best, and they deserve all of the popularity they have. They are amazing people, each and every one of them. I look at their numbers, and then I see far.
There's another thing too, is that people will naturally, after about 2 hours of streaming, which I'm about to reach right now, people naturally just kind of like want to do something else. It's something in the human brain. That's usually why when you'll hear me at about the 2 hour mark on regular Anime Boomers, I'll just be like, okay, let's wrap it up, and then we go on another hour long tangent. Because it's usually like, if you stream for more than 2 hours, usually people just kind of get like, the human brain is only meant to handle something for a certain amount of time. Chaos Meshes, I'm still here. I'm just lurking. Yeah, the human brain can only like handle something for so long before it like wants to do something else.
Far more growth than I ever have. Substantially higher amount of people watch them. Substantially higher amount of people like them.
Don't bow down to the pressure of others.
Over
Exactly.
A much shorter period, whereas I have stayed at the same level since I started, basically. To me, that is not.
Yeah, chat.
I mean,
shout out to chat. It's like they're still here. They're just listening.
This isn't me saying like.
Oh yeah, so the Occo did tell me that the audio was going to cut out a little bit because
tune out.
Yeah. He had to switch to PC.
Because I've seen new people come in so often, like so many new people.
And now we actually have little
and so many old people have left.
Fugitech
but
avatars.
I've been incapable of matching so many of my friends in having growth, let alone any growth at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are what you saw today was a building frustration within me. Like, well, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong as a streamer?
I really need to commission a smiling friends Fugitech.
What exactly am I failing at? Is it the games I choose to play?
I could probably make one myself, actually.
Games, like I was playing Wukong. I'm trying to play the things that I think my audience might be excited for, and maybe older audience members might be excited to see. Maybe new people might be excited to see, like Zenless Zone Zero, etc., etc. I try to do that. I try my very best to make jokes and talk and do things. I try to promote on different platforms. I try to make YouTube shorts. I try everything, and but like I fail to succeed in getting anyone interested in my streams.
Yeah, most people that listen to the podcast are doing it during work. A lot of truckers too. Trucker gang.
Doubt about my own ability to entertain. Why is it that my friends, why is it that people that were like growing alongside me at one point just shut up beyond me? And I've had people try and promote me, for an example. I've had very big streamers very graciously choose to collaborate with me despite me not matching them at all. Like, they would gain nothing from collaborating with me. They still do it, and they're so sweet for doing it. But at the same time, it's like I feel bad because I can't offer them anything in return. I'm not able to, like, I'm not able to give them any boon for it. And it just comes across like I've seen people say things like calling me a leech for collaborating with someone who is bigger than me, And that sucks. It like really burns.
I mean, it
It's
sucks,
like,
but you can't let that
now
stuff get
that's
to you
another
because
reason why these
people are
never
going
gonna
to
come watch me because I'm a leech now.
people are going to
Right?
say stuff like that.
It's
though.
like it's this endless cycle of I'm attempting my very very best. People are trying to give me help. I'm trying to make shorts. I'm trying to
You're
work.
just caring
I'm trying
too
to
much what
stream every day. I'm
people
trying to do my
say.
very best, and yet none of it leads
Brainworms.
to
That's
much
right.
tangible results.
That's right. It is brainworms.
In
100%.
terms of growth, and it's not even that I care about growth. I'm on a fixed salary from my company. I don't need money or any of those things. It's just it's like a symptom of something I'm doing wrong.
Merryweather
and it's
would do
just,
better
like,
with
eating at
pre-recorded
me,
content, not looking at the comments. Yeah,
It-
true.
I must be doing something wrong because so many friends.
You should
of
get him
mine
on for emotional
found
support.
it,
Yeah,
like,
hey,
by
if
doing
Merryweather
a
ever
lot of
wanted to
the
come
same
on the
things I'm
podcast, I'd be
doing,
welcome to have him
found so
on.
much growth, and yet when it's me doing it, it fails, and it's like a weird obsession of mine. Why exactly is it that nothing works when it's me doing it? You know what I mean?
I do. I think the problem that like I know everybody's going to look at is because again,
I wouldn't mind talking with Merryweather about this sort of stuff because, I'm somebody that, I've had a couple of false starts, restarts, redos, rebrandings, all sorts of stuff over my illustrious internet career. And one of the things that has always remained consistent is you cannot take what people say on the internet too seriously. And you can't worry about like when people are saying stuff like, oh, you're a leech, why is so-and-so here, and talking about numbers or followers or any of that stuff, because all of that stuff is transitory. It's here today and gone tomorrow. So, like, why focus on stuff that doesn't matter when you can instead focus on stuff that does? And I think maybe this is Merryweather's problem, is that he's worrying too much about things that ultimately are out of his control. Like, he's not going to be like you can do collabs and you can do like produce content, but you have to catch fire at the right time and be in the right situation. And that doesn't happen for a lot of people. Most people will never get beyond just a couple hundred subscribers. Like, I feel blessed to be at the like the 5K that the GATORTIME channel is on, or the slightly over 1K. Oh no, it's 2K. When did Anime Boomers get 2,000 subscribers? What the hell? But like that's a great example. Like, I'm very blessed to have the people that subscribe to the podcast. The people that come into the chat, say hi. The people that watch the show. You can't worry and look at and obsess over the numbers, because if you obsess over the numbers too much, like, it's going to drive you crazy, and it's going to drive you out of doing something that you love. And that's ultimately why you should do stuff like this, is because you love it. If you hate streaming, then don't do it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's not for everybody. Some people are better at making videos. Some people are better at deep dives. And some people, like poor unfortunate souls like me, are just better at doing live streams. It's what we're good at. If I had to do a deep dive video, I would probably not do a very good job. But you give me a microphone and you give me even just like a static PNG and just a topic that I can yap about for hours, yapping about my nerdy little interest. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that all day. I'm a chatterbox. I don't know when to shut up, even when I should. Yeah, Japanese Demon Lord. Abere Lucifer, I believe is his name. Tell me if I butchered that. He says, authenticity is the key to succeeding online. If you don't believe what you're saying or promoting, expect failure. Yeah. And the graveyard of the internet is filled with content creators, influencers, however you want to, square that circle, that we're fake. And you can really tell when people are fake, when they're faking it, because it doesn't come across as authentic. And sooner or later that catches up with people. Like, some people are lucky enough to get caught up in the YouTube algorithm or the Twitch algorithm, where the company like notices them and puts you on the fast path to success, even though you don't have a personality. It's not biker. Excuse me. You know, or you know, you have friends in very high places that you know keep you afloat and will game the system in your behalf, but the vast majority of people, they won't have anything like that.
You do run at the very least from what I've seen. You don't have to say yay or nay to this, but you run.
Yeah,
a
the streaming bubble will burst sooner or later. Only the real ones will remain.
Direction. So
I'll still be here because I've got a real job.
And like, you're not hurting in terms of like physical needs. So
No,
in a
not at all.
in a way, you don't have to work a 9-to-5 job anymore. I mean, like, you're streaming.
I
and
do.
What you're running.
I'm probably working more than that though, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but like what I'm saying is, you don't work the boring job anymore behind the desk. You work the
No,
job
that's true.
that everybody else dreams of, and everybody else like dies or will
Absolutely.
kill.
I'm happy every day. There's not a day that goes by where I do not feel nothing but pure joy for the position I'm in.
Yeah.
So that you might see that as a contradiction, because I seem to be upset, right? Yeah, because I have this passion. I want to be a streamer. I want to be a good streamer, right? I want to be someone who can, you know, who gets to join my friends at Among Us without being the weird one that gets invited, even though he's like not able to bring anything to the table. I want to be one of the funny anime characters that people think of when they think of VTubing, right? That's my passion. That is my wish. And although I recognize that I have a lot of other wishes in my life that have been fulfilled, I
don't want people to think of me when they think of VTubing.
That I then should not have this wish that I would then
think of Korekore.
Like hope for. Should
think
I
of
not
Korekore.
be
Don't
frustrated
think of me.
when
Please,
this
God, don't
passion
think
of mine does not seem to work out?
I think well, I guess, what does a successful streamer look like? Because here's the thing. Again, like, in terms of me, and in terms of like a lot of other people that are smaller, hell, in terms of like maybe even a lot of your fans, they see you as the successful streamer. They see you as the guy that is able to.
It's all relative.
Day and do for you. And again, like, you know, in terms of what I consider a successful streamer, it's monetarily fit so that you don't have to worry about things. It's spiritually and mentally it doesn't really fit into it, but it's just like you're physically taken care of from what you do. So
No. I don't view myself as an unsuccessful streamer.
Okay.
I view myself as a streamer who, you know, I don't really. It's more like I view myself as a person who is so lucky that I'm able to dedicate this amount of time to streaming. I love streaming. It's the best thing in the world. I love playing Final Fantasy for hours and hours with my viewers. That's not my frustration. My frustration is with the fact that I see other people having started, in some cases after me, in some cases around the same time as me, grow to these extravagant levels. And most of them have. Most of the names that I can remember from 2020 have grown massive audiences now. I don't want to name names, right? Because that's a little awkward.
You've named them in the stream already, so that's fine.
Who?
I think you mentioned some of the VShojo characters.
I think I mentioned ninja characters?
Nijisanji.
Niji.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, that was more in relation to fandom. It's not quite the same as
he's a dude. If he's going to compare your average female VTuber to his own growth, he's going to be disappointed.
I think
male VTubers are always going to be an underclass.
And maybe I brought up a few names as examples of I would love to invite these people to collab without being the odd one out, you know?
I believe.
I think that's what I was trying to say.
I think I remember you mentioning specifically only names that have in the past collabed with you, not people that you wanted to bring on.
Yes.
But
correct. I would like to invite them more to collab, but again, it just comes across as this awkward thing where I I get looked at as if I'm like taking advantage of the fact that these people. It makes me not want to invite them,
Okay,
right?
but who?
And that sucks because I love these people.
Who calls you that?
Who called you that? Like different people around the internet.
Okay.
I've seen people,
What-
you know, tag me in tweets and stuff and talk about me on their
Yeah,
Twitter
but
accounts.
you
and stuff.
can't worry
Okay,
about that
But
stuff
are they
though.
like people with real do you like literally have like VTubers from big agencies or like VTubers with
Yeah, this is the
content
point I would
prominence,
make.
like calling you a leech because you decided to stream with one of your friends?
I would never know. I would never know. And I also don't want to get in on this topic,
Like
if
he's
that's okay.
like he's literally just getting one guide. Like it's like, you know, first name bunch of numbers with 5 followers, 4 of which are bots, 1 of which is John Cena. It's literally being like, "Oh, Merryweather, you're such a leech," and like you can't let that stuff get to you, man. Like you can't let that stuff get to you. Like if first name bunch of numbers, like talks shit on Twitter, just block them. Just block them. Like it's someone's alt account, just block them. Don't worry about that stuff. Unless somebody with like a gorillion followers is like, no, this guy sucks, he's a leech or whatever, like, don't pay attention to it. And I've had this problem in the past where, like, I was part of Twitter Fight Club, where it didn't matter, like, how many followers they had. If they were talking shit, they were going to get hit. You know, they talk shit, I'm going to talk shit back. Guess what that led to? That led to my first suspension. and my Twitter account was suspended for like 2 years. No, actually probably more than that. I think it was like closer to 3. Yeah. Yeah, don't get dragged into Twitter Fight Club. I learned my lesson. I just block them now. Yeah, unless you want to screw with them. Yeah, but see, there again, you got to be careful. You got to know. You got to pick your moments. You got to pick your moments. I'm not part of Twitter Fight Club anymore. I learned my lesson. I actually kind of want to keep my Twitter account. I kind of want to keep it. It's the thing I have with the most subscribers currently. Pick your fight. Yeah, that's the thing. Pick your fight. That's why I'm getting a lot of shit from the Niji sisters right now, because they're in this like total Niji defense force stuff going on right now. I'm picking the ones to talk to, picking the ones to call out. I'm not gonna spend my time like trying to trash talk every single one of them, because there's no point. There's no point. Like, you're going to get to a certain part of the conversation where they're going to bait you into saying something, and they're all going to mass report you. It's not worth it. If they're being goofy and spamming your feed, just block them. Just block them.
No, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, like,
I don't want to speculate whether people talk badly about me.
I'm not
behind the
asking.
scenes.
No. I'm not asking you to speculate. I'm saying, have you seen big people talk about you that way, or is it only small shitheads from Twitter that nobody should care about?
No, it's like people around, you know. It's a discourse.
I think Niji will be disbanded, just don't know when. I think it'll be rolled into main Nijisanji.
Is because a tweet appeared yesterday on my timeline, on my For You page. Twitter does this odd thing where it like sends me tweets now that from people I don't follow. Not even that
Twitter sends you tweets of people talking shit about you? Yeah.
Send it because, I don't know, it's related to me or something. Does that happen to you?
Where it sends me random tweets from people that I don't follow. Only on my For You page.
You know what I do?
I try to avoid the...
If I get a tweet from somebody that I don't follow, that I really don't care what they have to say, I should mute it. If it's not somebody I specifically want to block, I just mute it. Because then I'll never see a tweet from them again. They'll never recommend it. If it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, I really don't care for this person or what they have to say, but it's not like somebody that's like actively, like maliciously, like spamming my stuff, I'll just mute it. It's like, yeah, I don't care what that person has to say. They're a tard. And I never want to see you in my For You feed again. Just mute. They're given these tools for a reason. Just mute. Just block. Especially if this is maybe advice to Merryweather. If you cannot handle it, just block them. Just block them or mute. That's why we have the tools.
Well, yeah,
Maybe
that's
it's toxic.
probably a good idea. But yeah, it came up on my For You page,
Muting,
right?
especially because the other
Because
person
that's the
can't tell that
default
you
one when
muted them.
Open Twitter. And I saw that it was a tweet from someone who likes me, right? It was a viewer who likes me. And they brought up a picture of me and then a picture of another VTuber. And they said something to the tune of, it's hard being a fan of these two this year.
He blocks most of the
and then I'm like,
watermelon
okay.
flag psychos. Yeah,
I don't see
definitely.
why it would
If
be
they have
hard
a
to be
meme
my
flag
fan.
in
I'm
their
pretty
bio,
inoffensive.
block them. You save yourself a lot of anguish
I
that
feel
way.
like I try my very best to not, get involved in any drama.
No
not
meme
get,
flags.
not being in any conflict with any VTubers in public or anything like that. Right?
It's a bad idea
don't
to allow
join hate
antisocial people
bandwagons, I
onto
don't-
social media. Well, see, the
I
problem is
don't- I
that,
don't,
like, because
whenever someone
after
gets
the
called out for
lockdown,
something, I
everyone
don't
became
join in on it
antisocial.
because I just want to focus on good things. Right?
Everybody's
I don't wanna
brains
do that.
exploded.
I don't want to participate in negativities to the best of my ability. I don't want to do. So I was confused. Why are they mentioning me?
I'm going to speed this up a little bit
Individual, and they. So I clicked on it
because I'm not
I got
going to
curious.
watch.
I clicked on it, and
I'm not going to watch the entire thing. I'm gonna save it for you guys to watch later. The link will be in the description. Because I just noticed it's almost midnight, and I'm gonna try to wrap it up around the midnight hour.
checked the replies. And other people were also asking why Mary, and then they say, well, people, that there was the Argentina thing.
Yeah.
But then there was also another thing which I didn't
Oh,
expect.
what does the watermelon flag in the bio signal? Oh, it's a very clever way to refer to a particular country's flag that is being heavily astroturfed right now by a particular political movement, and how they are very obnoxious, even if you like tangentially agree with their with the concept of what they're doing, they suck, and I don't like them.
And it was that apparently some people had been upset at me over, apparently a sizable amount of people even were upset at me over the tweet where I said that I was trying to reassure my fans, don't worry, I'm never planning to graduate. Why would I? Well, I have no reason to, right?
Mhm.
I don't want to, I'm never graduating. And they usually feel so happy when I say that. It's like a reassuring thing. I am, as you mentioned, I'm a very fortunate individual. I don't really need to worry about a lot of the things that most creatives would probably need to worry about. So I have the freedom to say that I'm never, planning to graduate fully from my activities as a VTuber because of how much I enjoy it. People had gotten upset at me over that. And based on what I could then gather from looking around a bit, people were upset because someone else was graduating around the time when I said that, and they saw it as insensitive.
I see.
And
You
I
can't
then was
worry
like,
about
well,
what people like that say, though, because there's always gonna be VTuber graduations. There's always gonna, like, hell, we just talked about frickin' Nijisanji, right? Like, if you're not allowed to say stuff like that because somebody graduated, like, it's always gonna piss off a Nijisanji fan because their Oshis are graduating like every other week at this point. He's letting this stuff get, just the tiniest little stuff get to him. You can't let that stuff get under your skin. Good Lord.
why would they see it as insensitive? I didn't know that this other person was graduating. I'm kind of in a bubble. I don't actually participate that. Like it may seem like I know everyone and talk to everyone, like publicly and stuff, but I don't actually participate that much. Like if it's from a company I'm not part of,
It's like reading a schizo in a VT thread and getting mad. It's like it's just a schizo in a VT thread. Why take it personally?
If it shows up on my Twitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that upset me because it's like I feel like I can do everything with the best of intentions without wanting to hurt anyone, with just talking to my viewers and just trying to say something sweet to my viewers, and then it will inadvertently frustrate other people, and then it's more people who don't want to come and say hi to me or engage with me. And I guess I don't know how logical you feel this is, but like I guess the next step for me would be, is this then another situation where they're gonna get upset at their Oshi if he or she ever tries to collaborate with me because I was insensitive about this person's graduation. I try my very best to do the right things and not get in trouble, and just
the rule number one of being in the VTuber industry is don't give a shit what other people think. Like that's the way Gura handles it. That's the way Pippa handles it. That's the way Kirsche handles it. It's the way a lot of big VTubers handle it. That number one, don't give a shit what other people think. Do your own thing. People are going to hate you. There is always going. I have no viewers but a long internet history, and I have people that hate me. People are gonna hate you. The more successful you are, the more people are gonna hate you. It comes with the territory. And there could be a myriad of reasons why they hate you. Like you may have banned them from a chat way back in the day and they swore vengeance upon your family name. It may be something just as stupid as like what he's describing here, where it's like, oh, he made a reference to graduating and my Oshi just graduated and I'm personally offended by that. Like that stuff. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, you're gonna get haters. It comes with the territory. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Be in it for the pure love of it. And that's hard to actually do because people will take something I said and they will apply a context to it that was never.
Yeah. I love this post here from Sparky. Yeah, to quote, and not just because it's a Jim quote. It's a very poignant Jim quote. It's the internet. You have no friends. It's the wild, wild west on here. Yeah. Like that is it. That is 100% it. Like you have to naturally assume that there's gonna be shitheads on the internet. And you cannot let the tiniest little comment, because this is what people do. They troll for effect. They want the reaction. They want to bait you into like getting on your knees and being like, I'm so sorry I'm talking about graduations. I will never do it again. Because that gives them personal satisfaction. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If somebody truly likes you, they won't care about stuff like that. You can't just keep, because and this is the problem too, is that people know that they can play on you like that, then they're going to do it more. But you're going to get malicious people that will do it for their own malicious purposes. So you can never like open the door to that kind of stuff.
Intended. And then I'll just have to deal with that because there's nothing I can really, like I can't confront these people. I can't go and talk to these people about it. And if I make a tweet about it, then, oh, Mary's talking about drama again. So at that point, there's like nothing I can do. I can just let
the Asmongold rules,
like weird rumors welter
of success. Rule number one, don't give an F. And rule number two, there are no other rules.
Also myself in that position because that's going to start showing up on other people's timelines because I'm
you should definitely clean your room.
So I can really say nothing. I can say nothing and I can do nothing about people who are spreading these things about
clean your room, wash your veins
about someone's graduation. To the point where it's widespread enough that my viewers start finding out about it from others. I got another DM today during the stream where someone told me that yes, they had also seen that quote unquote a lot of these fans were upset.
And empty out the sink. For the love of God, empty out the sink.
And that hurts.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get it. As somebody that has had false and untrue things said about them, that's and it totally sucks. And you know what? The biggest lesson that I
and it does suck. I mean, very recently, I had people spraying a lot of lies about me. It's unfortunately the internet. That is how the internet works. A lie gets halfway across the world before the truth gets its pants on. That's just human nature too. Even before the internet, rumors, gossip, especially if they were untrue, they got everywhere. They were all over the place before people found out the facts. And most people are just going to believe the gossip. They're going to believe the lies before they believe the truth because it's salacious. And the crazier something is, the more likely people are to believe it. That's just how the human brain works. RP says, eat spider pizza. It gives you streaming powers. No. I can't. No. Just no. No.
I feel like not everybody internalizes that much. And this is a lesson that I have learned mostly by watching Chris Chan, believe it or not, is you are on the internet. I know you expressed to me
this is true though.
You don't like how open the internet is, and trust me, I kind of get it. Sometimes it really sucks when you want to.
I love it when I'm getting retweets on the comics, but when I get taken totally out of context, it's not as fun.
Yes, no, yeah, and it's just like, and this is something that like I've kind of observed from you over the years, where people, where you'll say something or do something completely innocent, like I'll have a comic come out, and it's just like nobody cares about how cringe it might be. If it's cringe, it's funny, and somebody's going to like it, and that's really all that should matter. But I've noticed that like
yes,
you let it get to you, and I understand it again as somebody that grew up with a more emotional side, because I was raised primarily by my mother. I get it. Emotions sometimes
had a
suppressed,
vomit drawer.
but, and again,
She
you
no
are
longer has the vomit drawer.
20, 30 times bigger than me. So this is something that you have to worry about even more than I do. You have to stop caring. And
Our little
and I
rabbits,
know that
our
sounds
little
frustrating. It
rabbits
sucks.
becoming
Okay.
a real
Say
streamer
both
now.
things about
No
you,
longer has
or
the
spread
vomit
things about
drawer.
you, and it's just like it's not true. But it doesn't really help trying to, because going out there and trying to debunk or try and push something around isn't gonna fix it. Trust me, I've tried. And again, people just
Yeah,
don't care. They're gonna say whatever
I've
they want to
tried.
say about you till the end of time.
May I give an example on something?
Okay.
So one thing that happened today actually is that I made my tweet, which was in relation to this graduation matter.
Mhm.
And then someone quote tweets it and says, "Oh, kind of like how you did with Pippa when you called Pippa trailer trash."
Oh, yeah, somebody told me about that.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I said that Mari Mari and Pippa Pipkin are kind of like the trailer trash princesses of VTubing, and I thought that was a really funny thing. I was laughing. I think they're both cute and lovely VTubers. I don't know. I don't really know that much about like Pippa's content. I know a decent amount about Mari's content, and I've said that to their faces, and I've laughed about it. And
It's funny how we
I don't
were
know,
just
it's fine enough.
talking about Pippa, and then Pippa immediately gets brought up. But no, like I get where Mary's coming, where Merryweather's coming from about Pippa and Mari, right? Like the idea is that they are kind of like their brand of content is more like slapstick style humor. Like it's more lowbrow stuff where they're like making fun of like it's like Pippa and Mari are like dick and fart jokes. Like I get where he's coming from, and of like people are going to get mad no matter what you say. And I don't think Pippa or Mari took offense to that either.
Not that funny though. I realize now because a lot of people have kept bringing it up to me and kept trying to use it as like me shit talking them and me like trying to manipulate drama between them. Which the literal thing I said was, Mari Mari and Pippa Pipkin are kind of like, you know, trailer trash girls. I would love to like manipulate drama between them and see them in like an MMA fighting match. You can say that's a cringe joke. Today I agree with you, but I might also be kind of biased because of how negatively that joke has been taken. Right? That was never intended to be anything but love. Never.
Okay.
People call me Euro trash.
Do they know who this guy is? Oh yeah, Pippa and Mari do know who Mary is.
I never saw the word trailer trash as anything but like silly shit talk.
And Sparky's right, says, yeah, it's because people know it gets under your skin. That's why they do it.
Where they aren't there because I'm talking with Ethelstan and Ethelstan knows Mari Mari. And I don't know what I was thinking at that moment. It's definitely a mistake. I mean, I think we've all made cringe jokes with our friends when that definitely didn't land, right? Like that
or we just make cringe jokes in general.
Moment, I would say Ethelstan also called me autistic on that.
Or we're just cringe in general.
He called me out on it. It's not like this just went by.
I'm cringe, but I am
this
free.
This was like, Mary, this joke doesn't work, right? Oh, that hurts, right? That stings. A dagger to my heart. I drag out the dagger and I take it on the chin, right? But like it keeps being brought up. That's like people are legitimately claiming that I was trying to create bad blood against Mari and Pippa, two people who have never been anything but like nice to me.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. Why would the way why if I really wanted to manipulate drama between them, why would I say it in a public stream where 1,000 people are watching? That makes no sense. It was a cringe joke.
The issue is a lot of people do. And I think that's sort of where a lot of your problems come in, is a lot of it is, I know me and my friends know me, therefore everyone else should know me, but everyone else doesn't. So everyone else kind of sees that and they just see, oh, Mary's being a dick because he's a big VTuber and he can get away with it.
I'm not a big VTuber compared to those two. They're far bigger than me.
I mean, like.
But yeah, definitely, 100%. Like sometimes I'll be making a joke because I'm in a certain company, and for a second in a collab where we're playing Fortnite or whatever, and it's been like 3 hours, and we've been blasting people in Fortnite, and we've been talking shit, and we've just been making stupid stuff and saying silly noises. And then, yeah, like I let down my guard. I don't think for a moment. For a moment, I think I'm in a private call with Frederick and Ethelstan. And then it's like some stupid fucking cringe joke slips out.
Someone's across the bridge, and you're mad at them, so you're like, wow, what a fucking...
kind of like an asshole joking about two people who aren't there. Definitely. But I do think continuing to bring it up as like a year later as some sort of proof that I'm a shit person, I feel like that's a bit over the line.
And
that's
like, he's being very reserved. I'm surprised.
That is a joke I shouldn't have said. But like if you stream every day for like multiple years, you're gonna have a few cringe jokes that you shouldn't have said too. I don't think that's like some. I think I'm only human, right?
You are indeed.
We've all had cringe jokes we wish we could take back
at this point. I think what the issue is you just constantly feel the need to defend against it when people bring it up, and it's like, no, if people didn't care enough to listen to your explanation, they're not going to care enough to listen to your second explanation or your third one.
It's a good point.
You just have to like let it go sometimes.
Maybe I tried to let it go at the time. I tried to defend myself a little bit. Then I let it go. I didn't bring it up. And now a year later, I see someone directly quote tweeting me and talking about it again.
Yeah, and that's gonna always happen.
Yeah.
And then they say that it wasn't a joke, and I should
Yeah,
not.
people, the internet is forever. People are going to bring up stuff that you said like a billion years ago and use it against you in any situation that they can. You just have to just not give a shit. Because like, number one, people's opinions change over time. So like, sometimes people will say stuff that they thought way back in the day, and then guess what? They like change their mind later on. That doesn't mean like everything that you've ever said, every belief that you've ever had, you're not permanently locked into that way of thinking. Like I know that's a shocker to some people, but no, like people change over time. People have different opinions. They get more life experience and their mind changes. Like that's why you see some people like swap political parties or like go into different industries. Like they really like music, but then they actually get into art. Like the human brain is a constantly changing, adapting mechanism. And yeah, people are spineless. Yeah, some people are very spineless. Like some people just want to, they want to take the easy road because it's less stressful. That's where you get all of this, this cult mentality stuff, the NPC meme stuff, where people will just like, because it's so much easier to go with the flow than to go against the grain. It's so much easier to let other people think for you than to think for yourself. And especially when it comes to the mob and cancel culture, it's so much easier to be the ones doing the canceling, to be the ones making up the bullshit and spreading the lies than it is to be the people that are like being lied about, or the people that are trying to counteract the lies. It's so much easier to be the shithead than to be the one getting shit on. And so that's where you get these like internet cults of personality that pop up. Because it's all about people ultimately are social creatures, and people collectively as a whole are spineless. It's so much easier to just pick up a torch and go than it is to think rationally. It requires less brain processing power.
Say that it's a joke. They should just continue to spread this sentiment that I was being totally serious. I was trying to shit talk these two people.
And some people are very
think bad things about them.
effective.
I should just.
And some people are very effective at gathering people up to do those sorts of things and to weaponize mob mentality against other people. You see a lot of the Twitcherati do it very frequently. Even some people on our side have a tendency to whip up mobs of people against people they don't like.
Even though that is so false, and that was not at all what I'm saying, I should just not bring it up and let them continue to spread that?
Yes. 99% of the time, if you ignore it, it goes away.
But it didn't go.
Oh shit, I want to highlight this real quick. Let me get back to it. Yeah. Saw Uruka just got her play button. Blue Bear has come far. That's right. She's no longer the trash bear. She's the treasure bear. She's our treasure bear.
Go away after a whole year. It didn't go away after a whole year.
Yeah, somebody's always going to bring it
Like
up.
the flag
It's not
burning
gonna ever
watermelon
fully
people.
Go away.
Yeah.
The internet's forever.
I have quite a few of
The
those
more you bring
people
it
in my
up, the more
mentions too.
Comes back.
It's
I
weird
saw
the
that, but I
overlap
didn't bring
with
it
them
up
and
later.
Nijisanji, isn't it?
Yeah, but then if you respond, if you start pointing it out, if you start talking about it, it draws eyes to it, and then everybody starts looking at it.
Okay, but
It's Imizu made a fantastic point here, is that when you respond to somebody online, if you're a large creator, that is going to put more eyes on that particular post than it would have gotten otherwise, unless the other person's just like has a large account too. If it's, like I said, if it's a first name bunch of numbers that's just talking shit, the worst thing you can do is reply and get into an argument with them if they're spreading bullshit. That's the absolute single worst thing you could possibly do, is to just get in an argument with them so that your followers see their tweet under your tweet. Most of these accounts, you have to click like the show more replies to see what they're saying. The absolute worst thing you can do is to try to and I'm very guilty of this sometimes, is the absolute worst thing you can do is try to quote tweet them to like dunk on them or ratio them or whatever, because then it guarantees that even more of your followers will see the dumb shit that they're talking about. If somebody's just making up bullshit, don't waste your breath trying to like convince them that they're wrong, because number one, they're not going to be convinced. Number two, they know it's bullshit and they're just trying to screw with you.
Like this is another person. The person who quote-tweeted me is another person who has some following. So this person can just
Has a heart in the chat.
Totally
Oh damn, I'm
make
late.
the statement about me that is not at all representative of what happened.
Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah, it sucks. Trust me.
That's the internet.
Me and Mizu and our co-host who isn't here right now, we can attest that people say stupid shit all the time.
Okay.
It's going to live with
Yep.
you forever.
Right. So,
oh, go ahead.
so what about this situation, right? Under the person's tweet, there was a person who replied and said, "Wait, Mary really did that?" And then the person replies and said, "Yeah, he did." And then they, okay, I'm like paraphrasing, I don't remember exactly, but it was something to the tune of this. And then they said, "Whoa, that's a really shitty thing to do," and he wasn't even joking. So this is a person who may have, I don't know if they like.
This is literally how the internet works, though.
And now they dislike me. So this sort of thing should just be let to grow without ever being challenged. What if people see me reply and say, "No, it was a joke," and then they're like, "Okay, let it go." They're not going to let their opinion of it be.
Speaking as somebody that has had a very recent controversy, I can tell you that going out there and saying no, none of that is true, it's retarded, and like trying to explain yourself does absolutely nothing to convince people. It doesn't work. The people that are easily convinced by something that somebody has lied about, that you can show absolute proof they lied about it, the people that are going to be convinced are already convinced it's probably bullshit. There are people that you will never be able to convince that it's bullshit, no matter how much you fight, and it ain't worth it. Yeah, Azahara in the chat here says, Mary has a problem that he wants to be liked by anybody and everybody, and any negative comments he hears about him, he wants to go in and try to explain. Yeah, see, you can't do that. You need to contact this guy and talk to him to calm him down. Yeah, I'm hoping as I go through this that Occo and Mizu are able to kind of like chill him out a little bit. Yeah, that's why they always ask you for receipts. Yes, but see, that's the thing. Like, there are going to be people that are going to talk shit on the internet. They're gonna spread bullshit because, especially if they know it pisses you off. That's literally the reason they do it, just because they know it gets to you. I wonder if it has, Azar says, I wonder if it has to do with his autism, though, because people keep trying to explain it, and it just doesn't get through to it. Possibly. I think maybe I am apparently the, I've been called the Tard Whisperer. You know, in my time, you know, I'm not, of course, I'm not implying Mary is a tard, you know, obviously, but you know, I'm very effective at speaking to people that are on the spectrum. I guess maybe because I'm a little autistic myself. You know, I'm something of an autist myself here. The way I would explain it to him is this: is that if you spend all of your time chasing down people that are talking shit and trying to correct it, you will literally spend the entire rest of your internet career chasing down people and trying to fact check them. Anybody that just readily believes stuff on the internet, they do so at their own peril. Gator the Tard Whisperer makes sense. Hey man, I did it for many, many years. I did it for many, many years, you know, and you can only wrangle but so much. You can only Tard Whisper but for so much before it's no longer effective. Yeah, but that's what I tell him. I'd be like, look, I know that you see this stuff and you see people that are like spreading false info or whatever about you, but the more that you try to like to you know, quote, correct the record, the more people are going to see it, and they're just going to assume that you're the one that's lying. Because there are going to be bad actors, there's going to be bad faith people, there's going to be people that are just going to lie about you because you're popular. And you cannot let them affect your mental health, your mental well-being, and you can't like highlight them or give them a platform because you have the power to platform them or not. You can just ignore them. And the halls of the internet are littered with the bodies and careers of people that could not handle the slightest bit of pushback and criticism from shitheads and drove themselves into the ground because they couldn't deal with it. Dim the lamp. Just collect information and release a Google Doc like Kirsha. Yeah. And that's another option too. Is if it's so bad and people are like going absolutely apeshit about it, put like all the stuff together and release it as like one big thing. That is a very valid solution. But don't spend your day just like fighting like all this stuff, because you'll literally spend the rest of your life doing it, and it's not worth it. I don't have to name names to show you like the laundry list of people that thought fighting their critics was more important than making content.
Dissuaded. What if they look at it and see Mary isn't saying anything to this? That must mean it's true.
I mean, people are going to think what they're going to think. It happens.
Not always.
Exactly.
People's
That's what I
opinions
said.
Can change, no? Like that person was going to think what they were going to think until they saw that person's statement.
But how do you know that?
Well, I know that because I've seen it
That's the
spread.
thing.
I've seen people who didn't know about it now know about it and then have a negative opinion about me because of it.
But again, how do you know they really didn't know about it? That's the thing. You're like taking everybody on the internet at their word when you know for a fact these people are there specifically to get under your skin.
But they might not be. That person wasn't DMing me, wasn't talking to me. That person was just some person on the internet. They were never talking to me, so I don't think they were trying to get under my skin. They were just talking to the person who said that.
Who added you or quote tweeted you, as you said? They know you'll see it.
That person was quote tweeting me, but they were quote tweeting me to their followers. They didn't reply to me. And then other people replied to them and said, whoa, he really did that? That's surprising. That's a shitty thing to do.
And every single one of those tags you, because that's how quote tweets work on their website.
No, they don't tag me. Quote tweets don't tag someone who's quote tweeted.
The quote tweet does. That's how you see it.
It does not. I only see it because I click on the quote tweet and then see
It's like trying to talk Socrates into a brick wall. Yeah, he's not getting what they're putting down.
Exactly. Yes. I'm talking about people who may have, maybe liked me, maybe had a neutral, maybe had kind of an opinion. I don't really watch him, but he seems all right. And now they think I'm a shithead because now they think I shit-talked a VTuber and was trying to manipulate others to go against them.
Yeah, you're chasing for the approval of somebody that all they had to be told was this guy sucks, and they immediately went, okay,
exactly.
he sucks, I'll never like him again.
This is my point.
Do you really want the person's approval?
If that kind of thing spreads in that way, then if I reply, maybe they'll then next time say, no, he said it was a joke. But if I never say it's a joke anywhere.
When in the history of the internet, chat, has this ever happened? Has somebody said, oh, is that true? Well, I hate that guy forever. And then that guy goes in and replies and says, no, actually, it's not true. When has that ever resulted in the person being like, oh, well, if you say it's not true, then I guess it's not true? What usually happens? What usually happens in that situation? It's usually, oh, you had to come over here and reply to this guy personally. Ah, if you're that upset by it, it must be true. It's just how the human brain works. You always assume the worst possible outcome.
Then they have nothing to go by. They only have this other person's opinion to go by. At least if I reply and say, no, it was a joke, then they have something, Then if they don't believe me after that, then fuck it, right? There's nothing I can say after that point. But at least I should say, no, it was a joke, no?
How many other people in the space do you see replying to stuff like that?
I've seen other people reply to things being said.
I like how I go through and say something and then Mizu literally says this basically the same thing right after. At least I know I'm on the same wavelength here.
How many?
How many?
How many? How often?
How many? How often? I don't know. There's countless people. I've seen people with bigger Twitter accounts than me reply trying to clear up rumors before. Quite a bit, actually. It's not true that people don't do that.
I'm not saying people don't. I'm saying people don't do it like you. And I'm telling you this for
maybe
a fact.
Maybe once every 6 months or so. I do it way too often. Do you think that's because you notice me more compared to these other VTubers who you may not follow as much?
No, I follow a lot of these VTubers. I follow a whole bunch of people in the space. Anytime anyone says anything bad about you, most people have kind of a meme that Mary will show up about the smallest things. You have a reputation for responding that other people do not have.
I guess, yeah, if someone says something about me that, if someone tags me in something, right? If someone replies to me saying that you did this or something, a lot of the time, yeah, I'll take it on face value and I'll say, no, I didn't, or no, it was never intended that.
See, we're establishing a precedent here. And this is what I wish I could explain to him. It's like, Mary, what you just said What you just said here is exactly why they do it. Because they know that if you get tagged in something, especially if it's BS, that you will go into the thread and you will argue with them. That is what they want. That is the reaction they're fishing for. And the worst thing you can do is give somebody the ounce of attention that they're trying to get, because they know it gets under your skin and they're trying to bait you into the conversation. Yeah. Yeah, right, RP. He's 100% right. He mentioned Patrick Tomlinson. That's a great example. Patrick is the same way. Is that like you start talking shit, say his name and he appears. Stalker child, you're going to prison. I believe in Patrick. I believe in Patrick. You talk shit, he's gonna show up. That's how it works. Like you should not want to be like Patrick Tomlinson in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, he's getting trolled. He is getting trolled, and he's feeding the trolls, and he needs to not do that. Because the more you feed the trolls, the more that they're going to show up, because they know it bothers them.
That way. I don't understand why I am seen as a bad person for doing that.
You're not seen as a bad person, but nobody wants to see that all the time. You are by constantly responding, you are actively bringing negativity to your followers' eyes. Negativity that they do not want to watch.
So with that said, yes, I agree. I shouldn't reply to people for that reason. That's correct. That's correct.
So don't.
That leaves me in a conundrum, though, because what can I then do? You say, ignore it. It'll go away if you ignore it. But at this point, it does not appear to go away. This, right. For example, this particular bad rumor about me, or let's say
because you've done it in the past. It takes a long time before this stuff wears off and people get bored of it. So you can't you can't just stop for a week and be like, oh, well, I stopped for a week, so they're just going to stop. No, that's not how it works. You have to ignore it harder, right? Kind
of being disrespectful towards someone's graduation for simply talking to my audience and saying I was not going to graduate, totally unknowing that this other person was graduating. In these sorts of cases, this sort of stuff spreads and continues to spread, and because.
Speaking of graduations, I made this joke. I literally made this joke on stream, and while we were streaming, I shit you not, chat. You're not gonna believe this. You are not going to believe this. There has been another Nijisanji graduation. Oh my god. Oh my god, there has been another Nijisanji graduation literally while we were streaming. Oh my god. I literally made this joke at the beginning of the stream. That I was like, oh, if we wait around long enough, there'll probably be another Nijisanji graduation. Oh, reset the clock. 0 days since the last Nijisanji graduation. Oh my god. Oh lord, you can't make this stuff up, people. Hero Sword in the X chat says, is this the only place you stream? No, I stream on X, but I also stream primarily on YouTube. I kind of use the X stream as a way to get people onto the YouTube channel. Because I could just put it on the twatters, put it on the twatters, and then it gives more people the ability to see it. I have a much bigger Twitter profile than I do a YouTube account. Wake up, babe! It's time for the weekly Nijisanji graduation. That's right. That's right. Ah, shit! Here we go again.
Because it is forever left unchallenged. Because I choose not to talk about it, because I choose to never address it, it just spreads like wildfire.
But does it really?
It apparently did.
No, you see a couple people that'll reply to something, and you'll say it's spreading like wildfire.
Well, I've seen that paper thing be brought up countless times over the years since it, like, maybe over, I don't really remember when it was. It was probably...
Yeah, Azahara's got the explanation in the chat. He says, this girl had a new model pre-Niji and was starting to pop off, and then she graduated. In Niji, her numbers were terrible due to all of the drama that happened, and her channel never took off. Yeah, that sucks to be like you're like going to a big company, right? And you're like, oh boy, you know, I can ride this momentum that I had from my previous life into my next one with a big company. And then the company that you sign up with completely craps the bed and gets involved in a bunch of drama. And because of it, like a huge chunk of their fan base just leaves. And the remaining fan base is so absolutely disgustingly, I hate to use this word, but it's the most appropriate word, toxic, that they never like they don't come over to your stream because you're not what they're looking for. That sucks. That sucks. RP says, Gator, do you think Gura is going to graduate? She seemed to hint at it recently. No, I don't think Gura will graduate for a long time. I think that what she's doing is she's making content at her pace, and because her channel is so large, she can do that. Like, she's the #1. I don't think HoloLive will... I think HoloLive will do everything in their power to appease her and let her kind of set the content, the content style that she wants. I don't think... it's going to be a while before Gura graduates. Will Gura graduate eventually? Yes. All of your favorite VTubers will eventually graduate. That's the way of the world. Nobody is going to do this sort of content forever. Like, people will want to move on and retire. Yeah, Azahara's right. Gura can take a 6-month break, come back one day, and still hit 20 to 50k CCV. Yeah. Like, she has the power to pretty much, like, take extended hiatuses if she wants to. But see, she'll still sell a ton of merch. Like, if she releases, like, a music video or is it part of, like, a 3D collab, the numbers will go up drastically. Like, she's got all the momentum in that company, in the English side. Yeah, and the Nijisanji member that Azar was talking about had nothing to do with the drama. Yeah, a lot of them didn't. A lot of them didn't, and they're still, taking crap for it because a lot of people that were fans of Nijisanji left. Like, I mentioned that, I was a fan of Pomu. And that's how I found Selen, was through Pomu, because I was a big Metal Gear fan. And, yeah, I left. I don't support Nijisanji in any way. Why would I? Shoot. Like, I'm kind of, like, low-key cheering for Vivi after Niji was basically like, yeah, we don't want these two interacting at all. So I'm kind of low-key rooting for Vivi in that in the Sejam Slam, because she seems like a cool person, and it sucks that the drama negatively affected her. She seems like a really cool person, and she's also a she's a big fan of Selen. It sucks they can't interact with each other.
Over a year ago, when it happened, right? I've seen it be constantly mentioned. There are people talking about it, acting like I'm some terrible fucking person for saying this. And I don't understand why that is the case. These are not people trying to troll me. These are not people trying to find me. These are like, if they wanted me to see it, they could tag me, but they don't. They just, they just let this color their perception of me. And yeah, that kind of sucks. It's not fun. It's not fun to
Jen
in a
poster.
situation where I never
I have
intended
one
any
eye
harm
on the
to
Niji
anyone.
dumpster fire and the other eye on the hags
I
over
don't
it.
think Mario
Ka-ching!
think I harmed them in any way. They both just kind of laughed at it. They laughed at me being autistic, but they laughed at it, right? And like,
Clara's
I
great.
never intended anything. This is me telling a cringe joke, and still a year later, people keep bringing it up, like on my tweets. That kind of sucks. It's not fun.
Yeah, that's the internet. That's going to happen forever.
That doesn't mean it doesn't suck.
Yeah, Irie and
it doesn't
Clara
cause me
are
conflict.
great.
Which Lumi? Sorry. Your Lumi? You have a
Oh
Lumi
yeah,
too?
no, apparently Occo's
Okay.
like microphone cuts out at this point. And so
Have
you
you never Have you never tried to talk to these people about it? Have you never replied to them? You've just never challenged it, ever. Really? You've never brought it up to anyone?
Like apparently his speaker's changed, and so he lost audio. So I might skip ahead a little bit.
Myself, people might think, well, the reason why he's not defending himself is because he actually did this horrible thing, and he's trying to sweep it under the rug. And then, right? Like failed PR is a thing, Like never ever addressing something bad isn't always the way, right? Like just letting everyone say, well, you can think what you want about me. I mean, that's fine in theory, I guess.
That's what a majority of people do.
I don't necessarily think it's true, though. I don't think the majority of people literally never address any rumor or any statement about them. I think there's many people who address less rumors.
They're talking about the game show Hole in the Wall, and Clara saying the usual unhinged shit.
Very big YouTubers bigger than me address something that frustrates them on stream before.
Based Clara.
And it doesn't get treated in the same way as when I do it. That might be, I don't know.
Because
that might be
like I said, they rarely do it. I think that's something you're misunderstanding is you keep saying, well, somebody else does it at least once, so you can't say nobody does it. Yes, we're aware. It's not that nobody does it. It's that a majority of people simply don't give it as much time and as much thought as you do.
Well, I think it's true to an extent. I don't think I'm giving it as much time as you seem to think.
You have released comics before under the Merryweather account and deleted them within 10 minutes because you got one negative comment. And you immediately make that is 100% true.
It is incorrect. I have deleted comics. I have deleted comics because someone was talking negatively. Because there was a massive abundance in one time when I deleted the comic. It was because there were massive quote tweets, which was bringing a lot of harassment to both myself and the artist who had illustrated it. Quote tweets that actually ratioed the original comic. That were saying a lot of very, very nasty things. This is probably about 4 years ago now.
Yeah, that's the internet.
This predate me ever becoming a VTuber. But yeah, there were times when the amount of harassment, this was during COVID, by the way, which was very intense time. There was a time where the harassment was so extreme that it was beginning to affect even our illustrators, because our illustrators are, of course, credited and tagged in each comic. And they were starting to get like people coming into their replies, their DMs, messaging them and saying a lot of very, very nasty things to them. There are situations where, yeah, those times I have sadly taken down those comics. It is incorrect to say that I took it down after 10 minutes because someone said one bad thing. That is not true. That is a very big over-exaggeration of what the truth is. And I haven't deleted a comic that I posted in years, by the way. That's also untrue because the harassment kind of ceased. After a while, it went away. After COVID ended and all the kids went back to school, it went away. I don't receive any harassment on my comics anymore, no matter how cringe they are.
I'm going to have to agree to disagree on the not deleting it within 10 minutes.
I have never, I must say that I have no recollection, nor do I think it would ever make sense to delete a comic that our studio paid good money to an artist to produce, and that the artist also, probably
like the other dude's interrogating him
within 10 minutes. That makes absolutely no sense.
So what Mizu and Occo are trying to explain to Mary is that he needs to not react to everything that happens, because the simple fact that he is reacting to like these people trying to mess with him is what causes and encourages them to do it. Yeah, and Sparky's right. Yeah, mute and block. You were given those tools for a reason. It doesn't matter if somebody quote tweets your comic and like ratios the crap out of it or whatever, no matter what they said, right? Because I don't know the context of this, so I don't know. Like they could have like posted like a thread or something, whatever. Like, but deleting the comic, deleting a post because somebody like singled you out for like an attack or whatever, that gives them more justification to do it more. It's a perpetual feedback loop. The more you put into this kind of stuff, the more you're going to get. The best thing to do is just to cut it off by blocking and muting somebody, or just simply ignoring it. Ignoring it's the best option. If you can't ignore it, mute the person. If they're like spamming your feed with it or whatever, just block them. That's the 3 ways to handle this stuff. And that's what he should be doing.
Sense to me. That might be a thing that that's an exaggeration that's been repeated on a Discord group chat at some point, and then it's like it's been repeated so much it becomes fact. I don't know where that comes from. Categorically, I really don't ever believe that's something we would do. I have deleted comics because of people like saying a lot of shit to me or like quote tweeting and that coming in an uncontrollably large wave. That is true. There was one time where someone
Yellow
quote tweeted a comic.
Not reacting
and
disincentivizes.
They got 7,000 retweets on that quote tweet. And every single like thousands of replies were just nothing but negative because our comic was quote unquote corny and unfunny. That's fair. You can find our comic corny and unfunny, but
I'm corny and unfunny.
Where for the artist and probably also for me in that situation, it becomes
I
overwhelming.
ain't deleting shit.
And then
I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, probably best to take this down.
I'm gonna keep being corny and unfunny.
Where people can continue to read it. The comics I took down are still up on YouTube, on Webtoon, all of the other platforms. Just Twitter was very toxic at that point. However, yeah, by replying to people and trying to reason with them, I brought more.
I can just feel Mizu just losing it.
And I don't do that anymore either. Not on our comics account.
The keyboard clack.
I haven't done that in years.
A specific thing about like the comics or saying that you've done it repeatedly.
It's
just this is something
Twitter hasn't changed. That's 100%. Yeah, Twitter has not changed at all. It's still the same shithole. It's just you don't get banned as often.
I've seen you do specifically due to how you're oversensitive and you take stuff too seriously. And this isn't something that was repeated to me. This was something I saw.
You saw me take down a comic after 10 minutes because it got one negative comment?
Yes.
You are 100% certain that this did in fact happen?
Yes, and there were many people calling you out for it. And
there were many people calling me out.
If I had my original Twitter, I could even show you the tweet where I sent it.
Within 10. Okay, show me.
No, if I had my original Twitter, you ended up replying to that Twitter. You ended up replying to that tweet I had made, and your fans mass reported me and got that tweet taken down.
No, my fans don't give a shit when I get criticism. Are you kidding? The comics fans don't give a shit. For real? I don't think they would ever like mass report anyone. That's untrue.
I can tell you for a fact they've done it at least twice. To me specifically.
To you specifically? This does not sound... What was your account's name?
It was Mizuhana Oshibe.
Do you have a profile picture you may have had at the time?
I wouldn't remember it at the time. There's so many profile pictures.
Did you say some like nasty insult or something?
Twitter's
like that?
just Twitter. There's a lot of people acting in bad faith.
Why are you taking down your comment?
Yeah, 100%. That is how Twitter works. Because you can just fire up a Twitter account, first name, bunch of numbers, and you can just tag the, Barack Obama, and you can just throw a racial slur at him. That's how Twitter works. Like Twitter is Fight Club. It's Fight Club for silly online people. that is how it works. Like, you can't take everything posted on Twitter seriously, especially if it's first name bunch of numbers.
Comic after 10 minutes, you pussy. Did you just say that?
No, I thought I was very nice. I specifically said that I loved the comic. I thought it was funny, and I just thought you were a bit of a baby for deleting it so quick just because one guy was mean to you in the comments.
Okay. And then my fans mass reported and got your Twitter taken down for that.
You replied to it specifically, and your fans followed you from there.
Fair enough. I replied to it, and then you say my fans mass reported that tweet and got your account taken down?
Yep. And I'm not salty about it or anything. It's whatever. It happens.
Okay,
it's Twitter.
Yeah. So this situation is, I don't know. I don't. Okay, I can't speak to whether your account got taken down. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. That really sucks. But like, I've never taken a comic down after 10 minutes because there was one negative. I think my artists would get very, like the illustrators that draw them and work hard on them would get very pissed if it was taken down after only 10 minutes because of one negative reply. I don't think that is the situation that actually happened. I think you may have said that to me. Maybe it went down after a few hours or something. That could have happened. If there was like an overwhelming wave of...
How do people create the I do want to talk about this. Is how do people create those handles with all the numbers? When I made my account, it just gave me variations of my name with 1 or 2 characters changed, not a bunch of numbers. It depends on how you create your account. I think it's if you do it via like a fake phone number, or it used to be like that, or something like that. There's a way if you create it in a certain fashion, it will it'll be like first name bunch of numbers. There's a way to still do it, I believe. I haven't created a new account in a while though, so they may have changed it. Yeah. If someone chat said mine has a bunch of numbers. Yeah. Yeah, it depends on how you create your account.
Attacks on me, but I don't think it would have been, because after 10 minutes, like who even replies to something after 10 minutes? It takes a while for the tweet.
When I had to make a new one after I was banned for a little while, one of the first suggestions was like Gator bunch of numbers. Thank God I got my account back. Oh yeah, okay. Occo's still muted.
No. Like it gets some 1,000 likes within 10 minutes probably.
Yeah, and people could just create the username themselves. That's true.
The level of harassment that would be required for me to take something down does not occur within 10 minutes. It usually takes a while. It needs to leave our community first, I don't know.
I wonder when Occo's mic cuts back in.
You remember it in a
After this,
different
check
way
out
than I,
Rie
but,
playing
is it
Class of
possible that you can move
09.
past this?
Oh.
I'm sorry your account got taken down.
Like I said, the account's not important. What I'm bringing up is that
I bet that's good.
it feels like you're just so oversensitive about everything, and it never stops.
Okay. So, on that note, I do agree. I think I'm very oversensitive. I think that it is oversensitivity to the point where it's a pretty big problem for me. Yeah. I think it is detrimental to my experience as a content creator, and I think it is detrimental to my viewers' experience in getting to engage and enjoy hanging out with.
Oh, thanks for the super chat, Hero Sword P. He said, how has the VTubing worked out for you? I'm hoping to get started soon, but I'm paying a crap ton of money for my first model. Then I don't know about the live 2D model thing. So my recommendation for anybody that wants to get into VTubing is there are plenty of free resources available that let you create like just a very, either a free or a cheap model that you can use when you start streaming. I would definitely invest in getting something like the model that I'm using is a free model. I've just heavily customized the crap out of it, but it's a free service. I use it's called Vtuber Kit. It's very simple. All I did was I made terribly photoshopped the little coat and the little chain, and then made the coat sleeves blue. That's literally it. I would definitely recommend looking into, before you invest a ton of money into it, I would definitely try to get something free or cheap and then customize it as you can and like stick with that for a little while and see if you like doing VTubing. Because I will say this about VTubing, it's not for everybody. You should see if you are really interested in it. And if it's something you're really passionate about and you really like it, then keep going. But I would test the waters out first. Yeah, only put money. Yeah, Dean Domino's right. Only put money into it once you're established and know you can afford it. Yes, 100%. 100%. I've seen a lot of VTubers that will spend thousands of dollars on like the coolest, craziest model that has like a billion toggles. And then like I see their graduation and tweet in like a month later. And it sucks. And I feel bad for them. Because, it's the life ain't for everybody. I mean, streaming alone isn't for everybody, but VTubing especially as a niche within it. Especially if you're going to be like I don't mean to assume your gender or whatever, but like if you're a male VTuber, like you are already in a very very small world. Typically female VTubers are the ones that make the most money, have the most success. It's a tough road to climb if you're a dude. Tough road to climb if you're a dude. I don't even know what the graduating thing means. So, to graduate, it means that it's just a fancy way of saying that you're going to cease playing like that VTuber character. It's a phrase that's borrowed from the idol culture that VTubing kind of comes from. So when an idol graduates, it's when they leave, like, they're no longer going to be an idol. They're going to go do something else. A lot of them graduate and become actors and actresses. Be like Bearing with his PNG. Yeah, there you go. As R says, man, I still have to calibrate my model and start setting OBS. We'll do that tomorrow. Well, there you go. Wasn't Fillian's model using free assets? Yes, actually, famously. Fillian got in a little bit of hot water for that, for selling merchandise with the model, the free asset. Yeah, there are tons of free assets, and some people do that. Some people will use like VR chat models. Yeah, I would definitely try to look, if you're interested in getting into VTubing, I would definitely look for free resources, and start that way, and then see if you really like it. Because once again, like VTubing's not for everybody. Content creation isn't for everybody. I would try to like dip your toes into it. Don't spend a ton of money on it, and then see how you feel about it. Infamously, not famously. Very true. Very, very true. Yeah, Asahara says 500 toggles, $10,000 model when the person only uses 1 or 2 toggles at most. Yeah. Let's see here. Sort of P again. Well, thank you, buddy. For 5 says, honestly, I think male VTuber could be a niche we can succeed in. If women can dominate in a male-dominated field, why can't we? LOL. Well, I guess if you're a male VTuber with a female model, I guess maybe you can do pretty well. There are some guys that actually do pretty well with a female model, but I said this in a. Did I say this in the podcast or did I say this on Clotho's show? I can't remember, but I've famously said in the past there's like a couple different paths for a male VTuber, and you don't really want to walk down like 90% of those paths. So you could be like the boyfriend experience streamer like a Vox Akuma, and you really don't want to do that. Just like we saw with poor Yuko Yurei, like she was a girlfriend experience streamer and she wanted to get away from that content. And her then fan base at the time like turned on her when she wanted to get away from it. And and if you become a boyfriend experienced streamer, like you're gonna have like crazy women that are only gonna want that content from you. And if you don't do that content, they're gonna get mad. And then there's the what I jokingly call the the path to the dark side, which is the fanboy streamers. You don't want to go down that road either. You don't want to go down. I'm just gonna go ahead and warn you: don't go down that road. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. And then there's like the bro streamers, which is what most male VTubing streamers should aspire to be. You should aspire to be a bro tuber. And the way I describe that is just a bunch of dudes chilling out and having fun. Like, but just a bunch of dudes playing Halo, chilling out. That's like Hollow Stars. Most of the Hollow Stars, they're just dudes being bros. Remember to be a boyfriend-free girl if you want to be a GFE streamer. Right? Exactly. Be a wacky friend / side character to hang out with. Yes, that is my recommendation to any guy that wants to be a male VTuber, is all of the successful male VTubers are like the wacky side character. They're the like everybody's Leorio. Nobody is, like all the people that try to be Kurapika, they don't pan out very well. All the popular, like everybody likes Leorio. Be Leorio. Be the funny, goofy side character. Everybody likes Leorio. Get into tools and become a new and better tool bear. There you go. WTW says, males don't do too well on the idol side, but you could appeal to another niche. Yeah, and that's another thing too, is that you can always find your niche and then just apply VTubing to it. I mean, that's kind of what I've done. Like, fundamentally, my content is still exactly the same. Like, I did the Anime Boomers podcast. Of course, I guess I'm also a special case because I was a PNG tuber, technically, as Gator. So I guess it's not quite a one-to-one comparison, but I did take what I was already doing and just applied VTubing to it. What would Nux be considered? I think Nux is more, I would consider him a variety streamer. Like, Nux is almost, like, I'm kind of almost in the same category, because I'm a variety streamer too. I'll play games, I'll talk trash, I'll talk about anime. I jump around to, I don't really have a niche per se. Someone said he's an annoyance streamer. Spencer says he's come across a woodworking male VTuber. Yeah, a great example. Great example is Owo's Lab. Like he's a dude that just like goes into his garage and does crazy wacky science experiments, and he just has a little animated Fugitech PNG that moves around when he talks. Like something as simple as that, and he blew up, man. I remember when I first saw his funny videos, I was like, oh man, this guy's hilarious. And then all of a sudden he just grew overnight. I'm like, holy shit. So Dim says he only likes 3 Chubas, mainly Sawa as a VA, Kirshi for the news, and Pippa for the unhinged personality. all other VTubers only as clips. Yeah. And that's how a lot of it is. People usually have their main and then maybe like 2 or 3 others that they also like watching, and then everybody else they see through clips. What about It's a Gundam? It's a Gundam is more like I guess he's also kind of a variety because he does like podcast stuff, but he also does more long form videos and things like that. Yeah, that's another thing too, is like think about what your hobbies are, Hero P. What do you like to do? What are your interests? Like if you want to like do you like just playing games? Is there a skill that you have that you could like lean into with a character? Like great example is Cinnabonbon, right? So Cinnabonbon was a character actually created by Pippa Pipkin. Was created by she did this AI thing, which she made a fake company called Flavor. And the gimmick was that each of the characters was based on like a different item of food. And people actually adopted the characters after the stream. And Cinnabonbon is probably one of the more famous ones. It's like, oh yeah, this is a do-it-yourself enthusiast bear with big boobs. And the person that plays Cinnabonbon was like, it's like, oh, well, that's, I like DIY and she has big boobs. So she's like, yeah, I'll play this character. And she did. And she's kind of coming to her own. Or Nyana Banyana is another character that was created by Pippa and took on a life of its own. Pippa's a mad genius. Yes, Pippa is a mad genius. Yes, just stuff like that. Yeah. Says, I want to play games and react to stuff, but I'm also a musician, so I might try doing covers. Yes. And that is a huge space for VTubing, is music. And honestly, like, that's really where a lot of the push is right now, is to try to get more into music. I mean, you don't have to look too far. Suisei, Mori Calliope. Like, look at all, I mean, hell, like a lot of Nijisanji's efforts are focused around trying to do more music. Like that, sky is the limit there. If you take like your love of music, but you just like slap VTuber on top of it, like that will go pretty far. Yeah, music hits hard. Sparky's right. And that's my recommendation to anybody that wants to get into VTubing, is take something you already love and just put VTuber on top of it. That's the best way to succeed, especially if you bring something different or bring like a talent to the table. Yeah, Uruka with her violin. Yes, she's very, very talented. She did a violin accompaniment to Pippa the Ripper, which was like, I was like, oh my god, this is actually better than the original. Just don't play. I knew someone was gonna say, just don't play Pippa the Ripper. Sorry, Pippa. No, definitely play Pippa the Ripper. She's not allowed to escape that meme. And he says, thanks. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. I always like seeing people get into the medium and kind of find their niche. Oh, this is from Chaos Smash 64. Off topic, but any update on the KOF challenge? Yes, actually, we had to kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit because Cody was doing some stuff. That's actually why I did a solo stream. We were going to stream on Friday, but Cody wasn't able to make it because he's got a lot of stuff going on right now. But he said it looks like it's clearing up now. So me and him are talking about planning the KOF challenge. He's already given me the link to where to get all the King of Fighters games that I'm going to be having to play. Now it's just a matter of lining up the punishments for it. And I can't say I'm exactly looking forward to that. So the gimmick is I have to play through the entire King of Fighters series and even the super bosses, even the ridiculously hard super bosses. And the gimmick is that I am allowed to skip a game and skip a super boss and go to the next game, but I have to endure a punishment. And the punishment is determined entirely by Cody. And I am not going to be sure exactly what punishment he's going to dish out, but he's kind of given suggestions as to the kinds of things that I could face. And I'm not looking forward to it. He said, yeah, it's all personal humiliation stuff. So, like, for instance, reading really cringy copy pasta while having to use a different VTuber model. And I did not like the sound of that one bit. But it's going to be entertaining for chat, and also an encouragement for me to get really, really good really, really quickly with King of Fighters. Oh, yeah. And Dean Domino has, like, the best advice of the night. And if you do enjoy being a content creator, do not ever wear the Sonichu medallion, even as a joke. Just don't do it. Don't do it. They're all cursed. They're all cursed. Don't subject yourself to that. Yeah, KSBS64 says KOF 98, 2002, 13, 14, and 15 are all on Steam. Yeah, I have been able to acquire many of them through various methods. Chaos Message Gator, just take my advice. Take it easy on the boss fights. Yeah. Well, no, I know. You know, the worst thing you can do when you fight a super boss is to get angry and let yourself get tilted. Because they're gonna cheat. That's how super bosses work. Spark says, wow, I'm clipping that stream, Gator, especially the punishments. Feel free. It'll be my fault for not getting good enough. Like, any of the punishments that I have to endure are entirely my fault. And my choice, because I was being a wimp and throwing in the towel. I deserve it. Feel free to laugh at me. Just be aggressive and don't let them have any leeway on you. Yes. Like playing DSP in a fighting game. Just air juggle your path to victory. Jedi Dust says, Hex is going on hiatus and she had 2 medallions. I really hope she got rid of those medallions. I told her, I replied to her when she posted that. I was like, Hex, you have, under no circumstances do you keep those medallions. You have to get rid of them. You have to get rid of them. But it seems like she'll be back. She'll be back. From the way she worded her tweet, it just seemed like it was a temporary thing, and she'll be back to stream some more. The rumors about Chris channel lining with the Beast are kind of scary. Yep. Hey, I was the one that, funny enough, I was on a friend's podcast, and I was the one that suggested that maybe Magic-chan is an evil entity that's possessed Chris. It's funny how it's funny how I'm always involved with this stupid stuff. I'm always in ground zero for like goofy internet stuff. Yeah, get rid of the bad juju. 100%. I think I'm going to listen to a little bit more of this clip, and then we'll probably call it soon. Oh my god, is it almost 1 o'clock in the morning? Okay, yeah, we'll listen to a little bit more, and then we'll call it.
With me on my accounts. Yeah, 100%. I hate that part about
Do you know quarter circles and DP motions? I know quarter circles because I played a lot of
I hate that part about
Soul Calibur back in the day.
And it's not so easy to just man up. It's like over time I try to improve. As mentioned, I haven't deleted a comic off our main Twitter account, our studio Twitter account, no matter how much. Like at some point I even started like making fun of the criticism or doubling down. There was the one time with like people were calling us out for doing this like a goth girl comic. I don't know if you remember this. We were doing this. Thank you. No, it's not goth girl in the jog. It was this like goth girl gets an ugly, like a chubby boyfriend. Or ugly or whatever, right? I don't think he was that ugly, but like a goth girl gets a chubby boyfriend, and that was.
I wish I could be the chubby boyfriend of the goth girlfriend.
I got someone to draw that because I'm the one who has like a goth girl fetish, and I'm overweight in real life.
I have a goth girl fetish.
If it was my private fantasy, it would be a 6'2" tall jock dude, but that would be a different thing. That's an entirely different comic. But if it, let me see. Like there was these things, and instead of deleting it that time, I doubled down on it. I made multiple. I continued making the same comic multiple times just to piss off these people. And a lot of people praised me for it and said I got better. And I felt great. I was like, finally, I'm not seen as a pussy anymore. Wonderful. I'm not a weak pussy anymore. But it comes again in unexpected ways. It's like, so
but you feed into it. Mary, you feed into it though. Like it's the thing I was describing earlier, where it's like you make the right decision one time, and then you think it's just going to all go away and be better from then on. No, they're still going to try to mess with you. And if you react to it in the same way you did before, it's just going to continue like that.
Side, right? I don't take things down. I don't respond to criticism. I keep posting comics, and if people think they're cringe, they can say it's cringe, and we're just going to keep posting, right? So
Chad's like, Mary's into NTR? I hope not.
But as a VTuber, it's different. As a VTuber, it's a different experience for me, and it's a different experience for multiple reasons. So it's like, let me think. For an example, as a VTuber, I'm not behind the scenes like I am with the comics. With the comics, it has nothing to do with me, really. I write a shitty meme, send it over to the studio, and the studio makes it, and I post it. And I can steel my mind against people calling it cringe, because you know what? It probably is a bit cringe, but it's entertaining. Who cares, right? I've been through all that. I've tried to rise above it, and I've got it now, right? We have again. You can go check. We haven't deleted a comic in years. Hasn't happened. It's literally not happened. But with VTubing, it's different, because it's like, if I do something wrong as a VTuber, or if I piss off people, or if something happens as a VTuber, it's like, well, then there's a chance that the community might genuinely dislike me. This is something that I don't think will happen with comics, because if people say that something is corny and unfunny in comics, then yeah, that's it, right? It's corny and unfunny. Like, well, if people harass us, okay, who cares? Because it's not like anyone's genuinely gonna like change their opinion to the point of hating us just because someone called us unfunny. So that fear doesn't exist for me on the comic side, but that fear does exist for me because I have my audience, and I really care about my audience, and I don't want my audience to have to defend being a fan of mine because of some rumor that I never responded to. And you might say to me, yeah, it gets worse if you respond to it, but like it's not that easy to just let it go, especially because like in this situation, you can mention to me right now, Mary, you shouldn't talk about the trailer trash thing, right? It's stupid. You should let it leave. And then in my mind, I'm gonna go like, yes, this person's right. I should never bring it up again. I've already said my piece. I should just let it die.
Right. You should just let it go. Let it go. Don't give a shit anymore. Let it go. Let it go.
And then I'm like, whatever else
flip
happens,
the table, slam the door.
To apply it in the exact same way. I don't know if I'm explaining it right. I don't know if you understand.
Shout out to Big Titty Goth Chicks. 100%. 100% chat. Oh, I think the entire audio cut out there. That's probably a good place to stop it then. I'll leave this to you guys to if you want to watch the rest later on. But it's already 1 o'clock in the morning, and I should probably be wrapping up. I've been streaming solo for like 3 hours and 30 minutes. Well, Necro was here for like 30 minutes. Sparky says, Gator, I have that song clipped and I have your voice. Don't give me ideas. Oh yeah. Sparky does have an AI voice model of me. I was supposed to actually. There's a song he did make for me, but I never could get the One Piece episode up and going. I need to really focus on that and see if I can find somebody to come on and yap about One Piece. Oh, Chaos Mesh 64 says a DP motion is forward, down, down, forward. Yeah. That's there's a bunch of see I was a Siegfried player in Soul Calibur, and one of his sword stances you have to do a quarter circle motion. So I am familiar with how they work. Karaoke. I actually have done karaoke in the past. Clotho actually invited me at some point to be on a karaoke stream. So I'll definitely pay attention to my Twitter account. If I'm ever on a karaoke stream with Clotho, I'll definitely post it. Yeah, Chaos64 says, Siegfried players rise up. That's right. Have big sword, will travel. Yeah, Sparky does AI covers. Dean Domino says, Yellow Flash is 20 episodes away from catching up to the anime. Oh, man. You know what? If Yellow Flash is that far into the anime, maybe I'll have him on to talk about One Piece. Because I don't know how him and Cody will interact, though. I don't think they've interacted with each other in a long time. And Cody's very opinionated, and Flash is very opinionated. That might be... I don't know how well that will go. But yeah, it'd be fun to talk with Flash about One Piece. I'd definitely like to pick his brain about it, since he's a guy that didn't really like watch it all that much, and he's kind of been binge watching it. It kind of seems like somebody that's been following it for a gazillion years versus somebody that's been following it recently. That'd be a good stream. Yeah, I think so too. I think that would be a fun stream. Probably should not have them on at the same time. Yeah, maybe if there's a week Cody can't go on the stream, maybe I'll have Flash on to talk about One Piece stuff. But no, I feel bad because I don't want to leave Cody out though, because Cody is another like big hardcore true 9,000% One Piece fan. I don't know. I'll have to figure something out. I'll have to figure something out there. Did they get into it before? Not that I know of. Not that I know of, but I know like some of the there was some beef way back during the Weeb War stuff between people and Cody. I'm not sure if Flash. I don't think it was him and Flash, but like Cody's a very opinionated dude, and there's some people that don't like him because of it, which is, you know, it's whatever. I like Cody. I like him. He's a good guy to bounce ideas off of, and you know he doesn't agree with me on everything, so it makes for a good show when you have somebody else there that has a different opinion, because he'll tell you if he doesn't like something. And it makes for a great conversation. Like, he didn't like Undead Unluck. I liked Undead Unluck. I think he was good. Oh yeah, the one, as Azar said, the One Piss fans with the bad takes on, that's a whole nother, the casual fans, yes. So he's No, I think he would take exception to being good. And I like Lofty too. Like Lofty's a cool dude. I know he likes to play the contrarian, and that aggravates the shit out of people. But like Lofty's a pretty chill dude when he's off stream. Like I hung out with him at Anime Matsuri like the year before, and then afterward. Like Lofty's a pretty chill dude. I think he gets a bad rap because of the meme. And I think he leaned into it a little too hard sometimes. As R says, he has a 52-year-old coworker that just got into One Piece and is catching up. I think he's in like the 950s. Wow. Yeah, it's a marathon. It's just so fun saying Kick Lofty. Yeah, I remember when I'm so old. I remember when it was Kick V. Got to kick V, yeah, we're gonna kick V, yeah, kick V off the streams. There's a little throwback for you. God, I'm old. I'm gonna turn into dust. I'm gonna turn into dust if I don't wrap this stream up. Naruto, I'll skip apps, yeah. I watched it as it came out, so I did not have the luxury of going back and skipping the filler. God, I wish I had. Nowadays I will just skip filler. If it's not good, especially if it's not good filler, I'll just be like, yeah, no thanks. Did you see Mai's new outfit? I did actually, yeah. Actually looks pretty good. See, Garo is supposed to be like, because the City of the Wolves, you know, is after Fatal Fury. So it's supposed to be like in a slightly like darker, grittier sort of atmosphere. Everybody's older. Things have like kind of fallen apart after Geese was thrown off a building. And it's all about, you know, Geese's son and stuff like that. So yeah, but Mai's look is perfect. Azahar says he can't force himself to watch One Piece, knowing there are other 80 or so anime I can watch in its place. That's fair enough. I tell people it's not for everybody. If you're up for something and up for marathoning a series that's very good, that has a lot of rich lore and backstory and stuff, One Piece is great. A lot of people I would just recommend to read the manga and catch up that way and then watch the anime. But man, you miss so many good fights, so many good like moments if you don't watch the anime. I feel bad that it fell into the Dragon Ball problem of it caught up to the manga so many times that they had to just make infinite amount of filler. Oh god, I've been streaming for so long that even Rand is in the chat making fun of me for it. He's like, Gator, it's your boy Randy. What are you doing up so late? I closed out 5 minutes ago. Yeah, that's my alarm clock. Just being like, yeah, oi mate, you screwed up. It's time to go to bed. Yeah, I agree, Dean. Says, too bad Fishman wouldn't let Rooney on a channel like yours could make a great stream. Yeah, I agree. I wish things could be that way, but people had to go and screw it up for everybody. People had to just like get so mad that they got told no that they had to screw it up for everybody. It's a shame. I'd have a great conversation with Rooney about One Piece, but it's not in the cards. It sucks. It sucks, but it is what it is. I respect Fishman. I respect Rooney enough not to poke the bear. I haven't asked, but I know what the answer is going to be, and I don't want to bother them. I don't want to bother them. I know better. Fishman's got Fishman's got bigger fish to fry. Does that mean Liam's never going on the petrol hour? Probably not. Probably not. I don't think I don't think it's like a meal on stream sort of deal. I think it's I think Fish is a smart guy. I think I think he's very cautious about like collabs. Maybe one day, if I keep at it and I've kind of like demonstrated that I'm just a chill dude that will protect his talent and will like just kind of chill and not like get them in trouble. Maybe somewhere down the line. But now I don't want to bother. I don't want to bother Fishman. I don't want to like make things weird for him and be like, oh yeah, I want to talk to Rooney about One Piece. And it's like, he's like, his first question is going to be, who are you? And then the second question is going to be, oh yeah, no, sorry. That's pretty much how that conversation is going to go. And I wouldn't blame him. He's got to protect his talent. And like I have one foot still too close to the exact community of people that he doesn't like or want. Full of people that, got told no and had a very bad reaction. So yeah. Maybe down the road, the further I distance myself from those particular people, maybe. We'll see. What I'm saying is don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up. It's a dream though. It's a dream. It's a goal. I could put it on the list of things I really want to do. Talk to Rooney about One Piece. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah. And I'm not gonna mention any names because, one of those guys I'm actually cool with, and even if I disagree with the way he like completely 100% vehemently disagreed with some of the stuff he said, yeah, I've never personally had a bad interaction. I don't like how he doesn't take a hint. Definitely don't like that. Not a fan of that or any of that other stuff. If you don't stop soon, you're going to overlap with Dizzy. This is true. Jim says, I wish Legal Mindset would do an interview with Sakana. Now that actually probably could happen. And I think that'd be pretty cool. That's something that could probably happen. I could probably get Sakana an interview with Sakana before I got an interview with his talents. But Legal Mindset 100% definitely could. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start and close it here. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in and sending super chats. Like, wow, I honestly did not expect to get the support that I got tonight, especially on a solo stream, especially a solo yapping stream, which Necro did pop in for like 30 minutes. How good is Legal Mindset at StarCraft unit noises? Now that's a good question. I'll have to ask him that next time I'm on the show. I'll have to ask him, how good is he at making StarCraft turret noises? But yeah, absolutely. Thank you, chat. Thanks to everybody that super chatted. Thanks to everybody that showed up in the chat and just kind of, shot the shit with me for like 3 hours and 39 minutes. That's a lot of talking. I'm not used to doing streams that long and it being primarily like solo content. So definitely like, thanks for that, guys. And hopefully I'll be doing a lot more content soon. My goal is to finish out the year with a bang and do a whole lot more gaming streams, a whole lot more like collaborations with people, and go on and guest on a lot more podcasts. Of course, I do host, I co-host the Debate Lords with Randy over there, which you can find on Odyssey. It's a spicy show because we talk about like internet drama and drama that I don't talk about on here. I went on Clotho's show last week. Actually, I should probably put that in here. Now that I think about it. I should actually go and link that in the description here. Because that was a very fun stream. His Sunday tea time last week. Let me see if I can go find it. That'll give you guys something to watch. I dropped some fun lore in there too. Yeah, here's the link. Let me copy that and put that in the description. So if you guys want to go watch that later, you could do that. Yeah, what was it? Sunday afternoon tea time. Yes, Sunday afternoon tea time with Clotho. There we go. Yeah, I'll put that in the description. Oh, stupid Twitter, putting Twitter links on everything. I hate that. I hate the stupid Twitter short links. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. There we go. That'll be in the description. Okay, there we go. Nexus peeps seem chill. Yeah. I've had great interactions with all the Nexus people. Clotho, Lulu, Tecma, like all of them. They're pretty cool people. Yeah, and yeah, Clotho the Nexus dude. Is Legal Mindset forklift certified? I don't know. That's another good question. I doubt it. Chaos Smash 64 says, if possible, I'd like to fight you in KOF in the future. For sure. After the KOF stream, I'll have to do some streams where I just get my ass whipped by chat. Because I'm gonna get destroyed. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys next time. Let me see if there's anybody to raid here. Let me see who's live right now. Let me see. Let me see. Who's live that I can raid and it won't be weird? Oh yeah, Rie streaming. Oh, is Pafu live? Is she on YouTube? I can't find her YouTube. Pafu VTuber. She might be like super. Oh, there she is. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. She only got 17 watching. Yeah, sure. You know what? Let's go surprise Pafu. We'll do that. Let me go set this in here. She might have it set not to allow other people to. Oh, she does. She does have it set up to redirect. Oh. Well, I guess we'll go surprise Pafu with like 40 viewers. We'll do that. Pafu is a Pafu is a based streamer. She says the gamer words. she's kind of the spicy content variety. Yeah, she's not afraid to say the gamer words. Say the gamer words. As Ponko says. All right. So we're gonna do that. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Oh yeah, I was gonna make an announcement. I was gonna talk about the VTuber invasion at Mag West, but I was doing the solo thing, so it completely slipped my mind. Well, while I have about 40 people here, I can go ahead and talk about this. So, the convention Mag West. So you've heard of Mag Fest. Well, this is Mag West, and Mag West is going to have a huge section this year of VTubers. And I'm going to go bring the tweet up real quick. Let me go find it real quick. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. So, there we go. So, MagWest is going to have a bunch of VTubers show up this year. So, it is in California. It's going to have Sayu. Sayu's going to be there. Let's see. Vivi Chain the Dragon's going to be there. Odyssey Eurobeat. John Loves Anime. Cody, if you're familiar with the things VTubers say, he's going to be there too. Yeah, so it's going to take place at the Doubletree Hilton in San Jose, California on the weekend of September 27th through the 29th. So if you're interested in seeing any of those people, especially Sayu, you know, we why you weem in the chat. If you're interested in seeing all these people, then check it out. I'm gonna be giving a much better promo on the next episode of Anime Boomers as it gets closer to the convention. But I got so busy, I got caught up in the other stuff. Why always California? Well, it's MagWest. MagFest is in the east. MagWest is in the west. Yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing Sayu, she's gonna be there. It's part of it. They're trying to bring a lot more VTubers onto the convention. You saw the tweet by that person that was like, "Oh my God, why are there so many VTubers at the convention?" Well, you're gonna be dealing with a whole lot more. You're gonna be dealing with a whole lot more. All right. Oh no, is Pafu? Is she ending her stream? No. Oh well, that sucks. Okay, well I guess we'll raid into Rie then, or maybe maybe we'll just raid into Rie. Hold on, I'll fix it real quick. Hope Rie's not. I know it's super late. Everybody's ending their streams. This is the problem I always have. I always try to raid into people's streams, and it just doesn't work because it's always like late and after the fact. All right, or Mint. I would raid into Mint because Mint is my Kamiyoshi after all. But because this is an episode talking about Nijisanji, I would prefer not to raid into her on a negative Nijisanji topic. I'd prefer it to be a more positive stream raiding into her. So that it's my, you know, she's my Oshi. I like her. I don't want to cause any problems for her at all. I mean, I like Rie too, but different company. So, you know, I'm weird. I'm weird about stuff like that. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a blast, and I am gonna go sleep. That's what I'm gonna do. I am going to go pass out. Let me get the outro set up here. You're consistent. Yeah, I'm very consistent on how I try to do things. You know, I don't like causing problems for people that I like. Rie is Australian, I believe, so it's not as late for her. Fair enough. All right. See you guys. Thank you for this support. I think we actually had more people watching tonight than on a regular Anime Boomers. So maybe I'll experiment with the timing, or maybe I'll do like little solo one shot streams more often on this channel. All right, guys. Have a good night. Peace.